Football comes to Las Vegas on a beautiful Saturday afternoon. And the Washington Huskies are hoping to rock Boise State's world. They'll come with their big tight end and Keith Price, their quarterback. DJ Harper leads a strong Boise State running attack here today. And Joe Southwick, he's the game manager. Fear the stash. Viva Las Vegas. Good afternoon and welcome everybody. With Kirk Street, I'm Brent Musburger, and you are looking live at the MAACO Bowl Las Vegas scene here, and you could not ask for a better weather day for football in Las Vegas in late December. And here come the Huskies. Well, an early Merry Christmas to my partner, Kirk Street, and the family back home in Nashville, all those wonderful children. And here are the Huskies, and, you know, they had a shootout last year, and Keith Price is back at command in this bowl game.
Yeah, you're right. What a great memory he had last year in the Alamo Bowl against Baylor, going up against RG3. And he came into this year with a lot of high expectations, actually on the fringe for the Heisman. Didn't quite live up to those expectations. A lot of it had to do with what was around him, breaking in some new personnel at receiver. The offensive line was decimated with injuries. I think he put a lot on his own shoulders, tried to do too much at times. Tonight he's got to be able to settle down and just play his game.
And now Boise coming on the field. You know, Herbie, you and I have talked about the Broncos. DJ Harper, one of the more courageous players that we've seen the last few years, coming off 2 major knee surgeries.
Yeah, and if you haven't seen a lot of Boise this year, and you think of Chris Peterson, you think of Razzle Dazzle, you think a lot of points. Last year they averaged 44 points a game. This year, 30 points, but they lost Kellen Moore, they lost Doug Martin. As you said, DJ Harper's been a tremendous story. 2009 had an ACL, 2010 had an ACL, had to sit behind Doug Martin, has paid his dues, over 1,000 yards this year. And this offense this year with Joe Southwick and Harper at tailback, it's a little bit more efficient, not quite as explosive. And today against a Pac-12 defense, they're going to have to be able to avoid turnovers and play smart.
The third member of our team here today, Kirk, Tom Rinaldi, is down below, so let's go down to Tom.
Merry Christmas to you, Brent and Kirk. Well, from the outside looking in, could never find a more diminished sense of expectation from Boise State heading into this season. As Herbie mentioned, no Kellen Moore, no Doug Martin, no Shea McClellan, but instead, the Broncos redefined themselves and found a more stout defensive identity. Without a single offensive player named first-team all-conference, they won 10 games, again, conference champions, and that defense shut out opponents in the first half 7 times. As senior linebacker Tommy Smith said, we were thought of as the guys that couldn't do it because all the stars left. We answered well. Well, one player who has left, sent home for violating team rules, a key absence here, defensive end DeMarcus Lawrence. A sophomore has been a huge pass rusher for the Broncos and an overall disruptive force up front. We'll have to see how the Broncos, Brent, compensate for a key defender being absent.
Yeah, exactly, Tom. And, you know, interestingly enough, these 2 schools, 500 miles apart, Boise from Seattle, they have played only once previously, and that was back in 2007. Jake Locker was then a freshman for Ty Willingham, and he was at the controls for the Huskies. He ran for a touchdown, and he threw for one in that game. Boise State committed 4 turnovers, and Washington broke the Broncos' 14-game winning streak, and that was the longest of the BCS at the time. The final score in that game was 24-10, the Huskies over Boise State. But not only are they going to play in the bowl game, but come next August, they're going to meet and open the newly remodeled Husky Stadium up in Seattle. And then in 2015, the series will move to Boise State. So there is Steve Sarkisian, Herbie, his 4th season, coming off a very, very disappointing loss in the Apple Cup to Washington State. And he will have the ball first here today as Boise won the toss, and they're going to defer.
Obviously had a great run at USC as a quarterback coach and offensive coordinator, took over 4 years ago in Seattle. talking to him on the field before the game with Tom Rinaldi, and told us, you know, in some ways this was a year where it was the most satisfying because of what they faced with injuries, even though they had that disappointing loss at the end of the year to Washington State.
And of course, across the way is Chris Peterson, who has done an unbelievable job. 83-8 in his 7th season. A winner 90% of the time since he has taken over. So Mickens is back deep for the Huskies. He's a freshman from Los Angeles, California, and we are underway in the MAACO Bowl, Los Angeles. And this ball will come out on the 25-yard line, and here comes Keith Price, a junior from Compton, California.
6'1", 202 pounds. Had a huge year last year, and now that you see him this year, and we talked about it in the Open, you know, I think a lot of people expected him to have an all-conference type of year. Lost 3 of his starting offensive linemen. Chris Polk, the starting tailback from a year ago, he left early. Lost his top 2 wide receivers. His top returning receiver was injured. So in other words, it's been a work in progress for this offense.
And Herbie, they'll start the game with an empty backfield, and they'll spread 4 wide receivers. They bring the jet sweep around, and they catch the edge here on first down with Bishop Sankey, their fine running back. And we will take a look at the Huskies' impact players.
Yeah, as much as Keith Price has to play well, it's really, they're going to win this game depending on how well Bishop Sankey plays. He's got to be able to provide that part of the offense. Kason Williams and Safarian Jenkins on the outside will look for one-on-one matchups. And of course, on defense, Desmond Trufant is going to be out there on an island quite a bit today against the Boise State receivers. He'll have to hold up.
Wildcat formation. Williams keeps it. Never checked out. That was Sankey who was back there. Williams was flanked out to the right.
Little wildcat there where they had Sankey getting it and moving Mickens around, trying to catch the defense off guard. And right now it looks like Washington, they were a very successful inside zone running team. These first couple plays, they're trying to get the ball a little bit more to the outside, maybe trying to challenge Boise State on the perimeter.
Keeping it on the ground was Sankey. Crosses the 40-yard line. And Herbie, you mentioned all the changes in the offensive line, and it is a very, very young group here for the Huskies today. Drew Schaefer is the senior and the ringleader, and you can see that he has 41 starts under his belt, but you can see how inexperienced, especially the right side. 2nd down and 7 for Washington. Opening drive of the game. First pass of the game is complete to ASJ. Austin Safarian Jenkins, one of the bigger tight end targets in the country.
When you're 6'6", 266 pounds, you got to be able to find an opening, and that's what he does. He's almost like a forward in basketball, the way they use him. He's a little option route there to the inside. You can see the guys that are trying to make the plays in coverage, they don't have nearly the size to be able to stay up with him, and that's a matchup to keep an eye on throughout this game.
3rd down and 2. Sankey fumbles. Ball's on the deck. Battle for it. Conference USA officiating crew sorts it out, and the Broncos say they've got it. First turnover of the game, a fumble by Bishop Sankey, recovered by Boise State.
And Darren Kontz does a good job of getting in there, getting the penetration. 3rd down and short. You can see nobody picks him up. Hatchie just misses him. He didn't come down to pick him up. And Kontz stepping up right here. He just slides right into the middle of this offense. Comes up with a big play. And remember, when Washington has lost games, they're -5 in the turnover margin. That's how Boise State beats teams.
And quickly to the attack, Joe Southwick brings the Boise State offense, and that is going to be a story here. Play action on first down, roll right, fired near side, juggled out of bounds, incomplete. And so now it is 2nd down, and Herbie, here comes the hurry.
Yeah, the Chris Peterson told us it's something they've not done all year, but they've had the extra preparation. They're going to go no huddle. Keep in mind, Oregon and Arizona both went no huddle, obviously, and had a lot of success against Washington. They looked at a lot of the film, and here they are going to implement their own no huddle today.
And they'll throw that bubble screen to the outside, but no more than 2 yards. Shaq Thompson, that fabulous freshman Husky defender, comes up and makes his first play of the game, and quickly the Huskies will try to substitute. Are they going to get the two fellas off? Yes, they do, in time.
Boise State substituted, gave Washington enough time to get 2 new players on the field.
Southwick will take off. Drives for the first down. Good effort by the redshirt junior from Danville, California, 6'1" Joe Southwick.
This is what he brings to the table, and Southwick's already ready to go to this next play. We didn't see this from Kellen Moore much. Play breaks down. The coaches have been challenging him to do more of this. We saw it in the Nevada game, and here he steps up big on 3rd down and converts.
Hands off Harper, huge hole in the middle, and he blasts across the 25-yard line for Boise State.
And Brent, you know that when you're going up against a no huddle, when they get that first down, it just seems to charge the battery and create momentum. And all of a sudden, that very next play, they open up a seam, and Harper hits it.
Well, here they come again. Southwick's target was covered. He'll throw this one out of bounds. It'll be 2nd down and 10. The ball is on the Huskies' 24.
You know, imagine Justin Wilcox preparing his team, and he's a first-year defensive coordinator. He's done a remarkable job. We'll talk more about that in a second. But they've seen bits and pieces of no huddle from Boise, but at the end of a game or end of a half, not like this to open up a game.
Play action. Fires middle, open, deflected, incomplete, and almost picked off. Sean Parker, the fine safety, got to it first here for the Huskies.
Yeah, the junior from Los Angeles, a lot of closing speed. He's had a huge year. He almost got there one more step, and he ends up coming up with the interception. And the freshman, Marcus Peters, good awareness, almost comes up off the tip pass with an interception, but great play there by Parker.
Broncos substitute, that slows it down. They'll huddle up for 3rd down and 10. That's Dan Paul, the fullback, going to the left side of the quarterback. Steps away from trouble, on the move, throws underneath to Harper, and Harper's going to get blasted well short of that 1st down. Justin Glenn.
Justin Glenn over to make the stop on the play. That's a gain of 7 of the 4th down.
Well, we welcome everybody to the MAACO Bowl, Las Vegas. Boise State settling for a field goal on its first drive. The Huskies turned it over on a fumble near midfield, and so Frazina here will attempt a 34-yard field goal to put Boise State ahead. And it curls in. 3-0. The co-champions of the Mountain West Conference lead the Washington Huskies of the Pac-12. And again with Kirk Herbstreit, Tom Rinaldi's down below. I'm Brent Musburger. Nice to have you with us. It is a beautiful Saturday afternoon here in Las Vegas. And the folks who just joined us, they missed that little bit of hurry up that Boise State was showing for the first time.
Yeah, if they missed it, it's interesting. The Boise has not really done much no huddle all year. And the very first series, they decided that they're going to come out and do a lot of no huddle. And Washington didn't know that. And I'll tell you, considering their own offense fumbles at midfield, and they had to defend a no-huddle offense coming at them rapidly, they did a pretty good job with Justin Wilcox as a defensive coordinator, communicating, getting the right calls in, and doing what they did to force Boise to settle for a field goal.
Let's check in down below with Tom Rinaldi. Tom?
Brent, we had spoken to Boise State head coach Chris Peterson. He had suggested they might go to the hurry up. I spoke to him on the field just prior to the game. He said this is something we work on frequently in practice to try to handle. Puts a bigger premium here on Joe Southwick in terms of his ability to process the signals coming in from the sideline. But they have faith that they're going to be able to do it. Obviously taking advantage of that early turnover, Brent, they get some points on the board.
Yeah, indeed, Tom. And Mickens is back deep. He fields this at the 6-yard line, looking for a seam for the Washington Huskies, wearing the white jerseys. Boise State in the dark blue. So it's 3-0 with the Broncos leading. 10:20 here in the first quarter. Keith Price, the Husky quarterback, who a year ago in that shootout against Baylor. And he was responsible for 7 total touchdowns in that game.
I mean, he was
they
going,
lost.
Yeah, he was going back and forth with RG3 in San Antonio that night. It counts for 7 touchdowns and a loss.
Back to throw for the second time. And Mickens, it's incomplete. He was diving for the ball as he slipped out of the backfield.
Price has been dealing with this all year. I think it's gotten to a point where it's really affected the confidence that he has in his offensive line. Those numbers you're looking at right there against Baylor, that was against a very poor defense and with a veteran group around him. This year, he's been working with a lot of inexperience and youth up front, and you just saw, again, more pressure on that poor throw because the center was being pushed right into him as he was releasing the football.
Price is in trouble, and he's down at the 20-yard line.
People want to talk about why didn't Keith Price have a better year? Well, you can look and see that this offensive line has a lot to do with why he struggled. This time, Bo Martin just works right up in the middle again. The left side of that offensive line goes right by Dexter Charles. And he's been sacked 69 times in the last 2 years.
But Bo Martin making that stop, Hurry, that's a story because DeMarcus Lawrence was sent home for disciplinary reasons. So number 8, big-time defensive lineman for Boise State, has been suspended and will not play in this game today. Price is back on the slant. Mickens reaches, grabs it at the 30-yard line, and that is short of the first down.
Now they're trying to do anything they can right now to help Keith Price. Quick throws. They've moved him at times. Anything they can do to try to get him into a rhythm. Right now he's limping off the field here when they came up short on that 3rd down.
So that rugby-style moving punt takes a favorable bounce for the Huskies, and it'll roll dead close to the 20-yard line.
Potter lets the ball roll dead at the 21-yard
So
line.
over on the sideline, it looks like he's being tended to over there on the bench as we continue with our coverage of the MAACO Bowl, Las Vegas.
Welcome back to the MAACO Bowl, Las Vegas. After Washington's 2nd series, Keith Price came off the field, appeared to be limping. Trainers could barely stop him, talked to him for maybe 30 seconds, seemed to shake off either a low back or a leg issue, then went right to Kurt Sarkisian, started talking to him about that last series. Now Boise State takes over, Brett.
All right, Tom, thank you. And Joe Southwick coming out from the 21-yard line here on 1st and 10 with the jet sweep action that they like with Shane Williams-Rhodes. He's a freshman. And the Huskies were more than ready for that action on that play. Sean Parker up with the stop.
Here's that hit that we had late there, and you could see, boy, that was dangerous. Darren Kahn's trying to get pressure, just dove into the air and got blocked into the legs of Keith Price. It's hope, as you heard Tom's report, that he's going to be okay and continue to play.
2nd down and 11. Back with Harper. And the Huskies swarming at the 21-yard line. And Travis Feeney, the first to hit him, the linebacker.
I got to tell you, this defense, it's amazing what Justin Wilcox has done. And to be honest, those linebackers, Feeney and Thompson, this time it's Feeney, both have a lot to do with it, the speed in which they're playing with.
See Brunell Myers, the right tackle for Boise State, down on the field. He's a 5th-year senior from Houston. And so he was injured on that play, and so he's being tended to. Herbie, you mentioned Justin Wilcox. I was leaving the hotel today, and who walked up to me but his father, Dave Wilcox. And, of course, I covered him with the 49ers, Hall of Fame linebacker. And so Justin Wilcox, you know, great legacy.
Great
Wow,
pedigree.
It is
doing
indeed.
a heck of a job this year.
ESPN College Football, the MAACO Bowl Las Vegas, is brought to you by MAACO Collision Repair and Auto Painting, the collision repair shop that paints cars. Las Vegas, where real fans know where to catch the games. Head to LasVegas.com today. And Lexus, the Lexus December to Remember sales event is on. This is the pursuit of perfection.
Reese Ariambo has moved in at right tackle to replace the injured Myers. He's a redshirt freshman from Mansfield, Texas. 6'4", 297 pounds, anchoring the right side of the Boise State line now. They bring motion through on this third down. Southwick fires back to the Matt Miller, his first reception, well short of the first down. And the Huskies' aggressive defense, Herbie, is starting to take charge here of this offense.
Big part of their plan was going to man up a lot on the outside. They wanted to take DJ Harper away, try to force Joe Southwick and this Boise State offense to be consistent, being able to move the football without explosives. If they limit the explosives, they can stop Boise's offense today.
Cody Bruns, and it may have been partially blocked. It certainly influenced a bad one, and it's picked up by Bruns. And Bruns is down at the 44-yard line, and he was shaken up on that tackle too. But take another look at this kick. Was not blocked. I believe he got it off, but it was very close.
I think it affected the rhythm of what Harmon was trying to do. Glenn just reaches out, and just by reaching out there, I think it may have caught the attention of Trevor Harmon. Not the most, not a punt that he's very proud of, I'm sure, and Washington gets pretty good field position here.
Keith Price moves quickly under center. Sankey, the running back, long reaching handoff, and Sankey, who fumbled earlier, with a tough run to midfield as he comes across. Folks, if you're a hoops junkie, Christmas Day is for you. How about that count of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 NBA games on ABC and ESPN? Look at that lineup. Knicks, Lakers, Oklahoma City, and the Heat. Rematch of the NBA championship. What a day if you like basketball on Christmas Day. Second down coming up now for the Huskies. Play, and here comes Sankey trying to get the right edge, and he's got a big hole. 30, 25, and busted out of bounds in the red zone at the 16-yard line by Ioane. Jeremy Ioane.
Well, this is a good job by Sarkisian, drawing up a play, getting the formation to help him get to the outside. Boise State's pinching everything into the interior. And again, another successful play where Sankey bounces the ball to the outside. This time he has a lineman leading the way. Boise State fortunate that didn't go all the way to the house.
So after the 33-yard gain from the power I, the draw play, and Sankey is just short of the 10-yard line at the 11. So after the 33-yard run, they come right back with this rascal.
Yeah, and again, he is the key today. Being able to balance out this offense. Again, they've got to take the pressure off of not just Price, but the offensive line and pass protection. It's been an Achilles heel all year long. And even Boise State knew coming in they have to stop Bishop Sankey. The last couple plays, we've been able to see what he can do when you give him some room.
Second down and 6. They go to the Wildcat formation again with Sankey. And he crosses the 10 to the 8-yard line. And it'll bring up a third down here for Washington.
He's a great story when you think about Chris Polk left early for the NFL. Jesse Collier looked like would become the guy. He got hurt, and Sankey all of a sudden went from being kind of a fringe back to being the go-to guy. In the fourth game, a Thursday night game on ESPN against Stanford, he ends up going for 144 yards. I think that really got his confidence going and allowed him to have a huge year this year.
Price back on the field. An empty backfield, fires, dropped. Might have had a touchdown, but the ball was dropped by Williams, and that will bring up a field goal attempt by the Huskies.
He gets more pressure, but at least he gets the ball out of his hands before he gets hit. Missed assignment up front. Quarterback makes the throw. I was watching him in the pregame warm-ups, Brent. He puts a lot of velocity on the ball, and even on the shorter throws, he doesn't take much off of it. And that time, I don't think Kason Williams had much of a chance to be able to secure the ball. If he did, it's an easy first down.
Cody Bruns is the holder. He'll put it down for Travis Coons. 26-yarder on the way, and we are deadlocked at 3. 4:47 remaining here in the first quarter. Steve Sarkisian settles for a field goal. Gorgeous day here in Las Vegas for the MAACO Bowl. Las Vegas, Washington and Boise State are tied. Herbie referred to the fact that Boise State has sent so many key players to the NFL. Doug Martin, the star running back now with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And of course, the record-setting quarterback Kellen Moore is with the Detroit Lions. He played in this bowl last year. Austin Pettis, wide receiver for the St. Louis Rams. Titus Young trying to get his act together with the Detroit Lions, but he is a talented wide receiver. And there, folks, I believe, other than Alabama, that's the most prolific draft from any team in the country, Herbie, isn't it?
Yeah, think about that. I think the nation still looks at Boise State as that little engine that could.
Right. Here's Williams Rhodes to the 21-yard line. Chris Peterson has just done one of the great coaches. Anytime there's a position open, he's going to Arkansas.
He's going everywhere. He's going everywhere. Meanwhile, he's in a meeting room.
Exactly. Nobody called me from Wisconsin. I didn't hear from anybody.
But what a job. I know he's been to BCS bowl games. I know he's done great things. But this year, considering it, the players that we just showed, Brett Keese, his offense coordinator now at Florida with Will Muschamp, this might be one of the best years he's had as a head coach at Boise State. Agreed. You're not going to beat him this year. You're not going to beat him.
Beware, because there's some young, real good talent on this Boise State team. Darius Harper. You know, one thing, Herbie, I must say now, the tackling by Washington, very enthusiastic. One of the things you measure with the bowl game, do the kids really want to be in it? Do they want to play? Are they happy with the circumstance? It looks to me like Washington's very happy to be here.
I called this game last year with Tom Rawley and Chris Fowler, and Arizona State was here. And I can tell you, they were not excited to be here. You're right. Washington's defense, they played this way all year for Justin Wilcox, playing with a lot of energy.
Southwick fires, and good second effort for the first down for Boise State on that play. And Boldevine did a good job.
He bounces off of Shaq Thompson there, who was in coverage. Able to wrap up on the bigger receiver at 6'4", 215 pounds. And here comes a hurry up.
Trying to get a quick first down if they can. I thought they'd had it on the previous play, but they needed still that final few inches to get the first down.
They gave it to him here. What Washington's doing right now is this has not been an offense that's been very explosive, so they're cheating down to stop Harper. They're cheating down against the run, and I think Boise's going to have to counter that with more from their passing game.
Southwick. Complete to Miller, out of bounds. And you were right on target with that call, Herbie. They went to the passing game, and Desmond Trufant, who's a fine defensive back for the Huskies, and Miller was able to pick up the first down on it.
And there's your man, Matt Miller from Montana. I thought I was almost going to get out of the way. That's your guy. When 2 in blue gets his hands on the ball, look out.
Here comes Harper, picks the daylight. Fine run.
Yeah, you get a little bit of the passing game going when you got a defense that's crowding the line. All of a sudden, the safeties and linebackers got to back out a bit, and it can open some things up. It's actually a great cut this time by Harper. He makes a jump cut to the right as the defense is flowing to pick up 9 yards.
Second down, Harper trying to find daylight on the left. Was very patient, waiting for a hole, but nothing really opened up. And John Timu, number 10, a Mike linebacker, finally got him down.
I said it earlier, I'm going to say it again. The difference in Washington's defense is not just Justin Wilcox, it's the speed of the linebackers with Feeney, Timo, and Shaq Thompson, number 7.
Third down and short now. Harper picks it up, plus some across the 40-yard line. 1st and 10 for Boise.
Good job up front by Boise State. 3rd down and short. Pretty much know who's going to get the football. And again, Harper, you've got to be impressed with this guy. Fought through 2 different ACL injuries, one in 09 and 2010.
They throw outside this time, and run out of bounds is Chris Potter. And that was Travis Feeney, the linebacker.
You almost wonder if Chris Peterson and Robert Prince are setting up maybe a little bit of a trick play. They threw that ball back to Potter. It was a lateral. And the way he was holding it, you know he's thinking about maybe trying to throw it downfield. Keep in mind, that is a play later, maybe.
Southwick from the pocket, incomplete. 2 minutes remaining here in the opening quarter.
Were you impressed with his comments that he said to us, you know, how was the year? Imagine filling the shoes of the all-time winningest quarterback in the history of the game, Kellen Moore. He said, not just it was interesting, he said, I learned a lot about life, you know, that I'm going to carry on and use some of these lessons for the rest of my life. Just about a lot of people very critical of his play this year. And who wouldn't be after when you're trying to replace Kellen Moore?
I was impressed with his mustache.
Yeah.
All the quarterbacks scoring a mustache a few games ago, and he's still got it on because they haven't lost. Firing it underneath now. He's got Potter for a first down. Shaq Thompson, that freshman, making the stop. So we will show you what we mean. There he is for the first 10 games, completed 65%. Last two, fear the stash, baby.
Let me tell you about what he thinks about that stash. We said in the meeting, so you're going to, what do you think? You like it? You're going to shave it? If after this game, he said, win or lose, this thing's off. He might shave it in the locker room after the game.
It comes back.
I think that's a good call, too.
It is. Boy, Shaq Thompson, that freshman linebacker that Wilcox was telling us about, what a good-looking football player. He's moving all over the field, making stops on the right and the left. He has got a big motor. Ajayi is who we brought down that time, and that brings up second and 7.
215 out of Sacramento. Could play tailback at almost any school in the country.
Southwick's going to keep it. He's a good athlete. Can't get the first down. Coaches would like to see him take off a little bit more.
Yeah, we saw it earlier on a crucial third down where he was willing to take off and he picked up the first down. Actually showed a nifty move. Yeah, Chris Peterson said, hey, remember a couple years ago, you were a wrinkle to Kellen Moore. We'd bring you into the red zone or short yardage as kind of that wildcat guy. Don't forget about that athletic ability. He did it late in the year against Nevada. We've seen him today willing to take off when he's had a chance to be able to run with it 3 times today for 14 yards.
Harper is back in the game for this 3rd and 2, and he'll take it on a toss to the left. And he picks up the first down. 2 ACL injuries in his career. At one time, folks, he was ahead of Doug Martin. In fact, they were moving Martin over to the defensive side when he was injured, and that's how Doug came to be the big-time running back at Boise State.
What an impressive drive here for Chris Peterson. 13 plays. They've converted 4 third downs here to keep this drive alive and get into the red zone.
Now with a first down and 10, Southwick with an empty backfield. Offensive line does a fine job, and it is complete. Reaching for the touchdown is Boldevine. Geraldo Boldevine.
Great patience here by Joe Southwick. The tight end actually clears the linebacker, number 10, John Timo, right in the middle of the field. He has to follow the vertical stretch by the tight end. It opens it up. He puts the ball right on the money so the safety, Sean Parker, could not make a play on it. It's a great throw that time by Joe Southwick.
Matt Miller will put it down here for Messina. Nothing comes easy with the Boise State kicking game. Danny Shelton may have gotten to it. We'll check it. And it's 9-3 as a result of the botched extra point.
With a new snapper, you wonder about the timing. The timing actually looks pretty good. Looks like they just got a big push there, and I think you're right. It was the big guy, Danny Shelton, who was able to get in there. So another good look at waiting for it to open, using his eyes to try to hold that safety back, and then eventually coming back and making a very good throw to Boldevine.
Yeah, you mentioned that the long snapper's gone. He was left back home for disciplinary reasons, too. Chris Robertson, and you wonder a little bit about that. Kevin Keene was to take over as the long snapper. So it's 9-3 with 15 seconds to go. And You know, the Huskies were jumping up and down after that Boschtek. There's a lot of enthusiasm on the Washington sideline here on the near side in this game. But that was a brilliant drive, and you put your finger on all the converted third downs. Here comes Mickens out for the Huskies. Gets past the 20-yard line. That's where Price and the offense will go to work again.
You know, we've seen so much of Bishop Sankey, that running game with Sarkisian trying to get it to the outside, to the perimeter where they bounce some runs. If I'm Boise State, I'm going to start to really crowd the line of scrimmage myself, much like Washington's doing, and saying, all right, let's see if the offensive line can hold up in pass protection, and let's see if Keith Price in his passing game can beat us. Otherwise, let's try to take away Sankey, which is the strength of their offense.
Last play of the opening quarter here. Play action. Price on the move has to throw it away. So we will start the second quarter. It'll be Huskies football, 2nd down and 10 when you come back to Las Vegas for the MAACO Bowl, Las Vegas.
You're watching ESPN's presentation of Capital One Bowl Week. Visit WatchESPN.com or download the Watch ESPN app to watch ESPN live anytime, anywhere. Brought to you by Vizio.
With Kirk Herbstreit and Tom Rinaldi, I'm Brett Musburger. We welcome you back to the MAACO Bowl, Las Vegas. Washington playing Boise State. And the Huskies with a 2nd down and 10. Keith Price under pressure has to drop it off underneath, and they get it to the 30-yard line. Herbie, here's a question for you. ASJ, as he is known up in Seattle, Austin Safarian Jenkins, he's only caught the ball once with a target like that. Wouldn't you try to get him? What are the Boise State doing to him?
I think they want to try to get the football. What they're doing right now a lot of times is rerouting and trying to jam and disrupt the timing between he and his quarterback. This is where he's pivotal right here on 3rd down. See if they can get him the football down at the bottom of the screen.
He slips out, but Price is looking downfield, takes off, and he's sacked back at the 27-yard line by Bo Martin, who is stepping in there for the suspended DeMarcus Lawrence, and he's made a couple of big plays.
That's the other reason he's not getting the football, is this pressure that they're receiving on 3rd down. It's Bo Martin. We've also seen, watch Kyrie Marshall, the backup defensive end. He chases him out of the pocket to allow Boise State to eventually come up with a big sack there by Bo Martin.
Travis Coombs hangs one in the air from Potter. Potter says stay away from it. And it'll be down to the 34-yard line. Herbie, let's take a look at that last drive brought to you by the Hilton Garden Inn.
They did a really good job of being able to sustain the drive. And Southwick, I thought that was his best drive that he's had. He was able to convert 4 different 3rd downs to keep the drive alive. This was a big one here, as we saw to Matt Miller, and then eventually the big touchdown to Boldevine. So let's see if they can build off of that last drive where they were able to get their first touchdown of the day.
Ajayi stays in as the running back. Finished up that last series, remember. And Myers is back at right tackle. And the first down pass to Matt Miller. And I believe that's about his 3rd catch so far of this game.
It's your guy.
Young man out of Helena, Herbie. Jim Harbaugh, apparently every school back then tried to recruit him as a safety.
He's big,
Boise
6'3".
State said he could be a wide receiver, which he wanted to play. Then they run Jack Fields, and they come back in now with some of the backup running backs. DJ Harper, not yet returning. So Ajayi gets another carry.
It's another 3rd down. Let's see how they do here. See if Washington tries to get pressure here on Southwick.
Southwick looking downfield, taking off, and he's not going to get it. He's pushed out of bounds. He was defended by Timu. Mike linebacker would not let him loose.
No, that's one of the rare times today we've seen the front four get pressure without having to bring the blitz, and give Josh Shirley, the sophomore, number 22, all the credit there for chasing Southwick out of the pocket, and eventually he just ran out of room. Nice play by 22, White.
So remember, Harmon was under fire the last time he punted for the Huskies, so let's see what happens here. Line drive. And winds up being pretty good. Goes out of bounds about the 20-yard line. Saturday afternoon, Las Vegas. A look down south side of the Strip.
My name's Sergeant First Class Antonio Cowan. I'm from Memphis, Tennessee, and I'd like to say happy holidays to all my family, friends, and loved ones back home, and give a special shout out to my wife and kids and my brother and sister. I love you guys.
Hi, I'm Corporal Helen from Mason City, Iowa. I'd like to give a shout out to all my family and friends back at home. I love every single one of you guys. Merry Christmas and safe holidays to all of you.
Hello, I'm Staff Sergeant Coleman from Yakima, Washington. I'd like to wish Merry Christmas to my wife and 3 kids at home in Yakima, my mom and dad, and go Huskies.
Greetings from some of our servicemen who are stationed in Afghanistan, who sent that along to everybody, and we certainly wish a Merry Christmas to all our troops who are abroad right now. And on first down, the Huskies bust one out to the 40-yard line here on first down and 10. Bishop Sankey, one of his better runs of the game.
And Dexter Charles, the guard, pulls around, comes up with a big block on a safety, and second time we've seen him be able to get free that second and third level of the Boise State defense. It seems like there's either penetration and he doesn't get much of an opportunity, or they're able to crease him like they did there, and he's able to spring for a big play.
He's had 16 yards on that one and 33 will be on that earlier one. And they'll come right back with him, and only for about a yard to the 40-yard line. J.C. Percy, the fifth-year senior from Blackfoot High School in Idaho, makes the stop.
Percy's been a guy that you and I've called Boise State games over the last 4 or 5 years, and it just seems like he's been here forever. Great leader for them this year, considering all the defensive front players that they lost to the NFL. They've turned to him for leadership, and he's been able to be that anchor all year.
Nice rolls to the right, fires high and incomplete. Would have been a tough catch if the ball was a little bit high and Price released it.
And Price is fundamentally sound, but he's late. Here he just, and I like that Sarkisian's trying to move him away from the pressure. But see how late he is with this throw? If he throws that ball a step or two before, then you've got enough time to be able to get not only the receiver make a catch in bounds, maybe make the catch and turn upfield for a first down.
So they empty the backfield out for this third down and 8. Time goes down the near side. It's intercepted. Picked off by Boise State's Jamar Taylor, who intercepted one and returned it 100 yards last year against Arizona State. Folks, Jamar Taylor is a Sunday afternoon player, big timer.
And this is the matchup that we wanted to see. Big receiver in Williams at 6'2", 216 against a big corner in Taylor. You mentioned Taylor has a future on Sundays, and young Williams as a sophomore is the go-to guy for Keith Price. He's locked down there, and it's a poor throw by Price. Throws it, tries to throw a back shoulder fade, but throws it low and away. Good recognition by Taylor to come up with that interception. A second turnover today already for Washington's offense.
And DJ Harper returns as the Boise State running back. Play action, Southwick as an open receiver across the 40-yard lines. Chris Potter, and it'll be 1st and 10.
1st and 10 after a big turnover. A great opportunity to try to take a shot. The defense took away the deep throw, but he had so much time, he's able to find his receiver at the second level for a big gain.
Now with an empty backfield, Southwick protection, and the middle is open. And Holden, who scored the touchdown, is just shy of the red zone.
I think right now they're sensing they've got not just momentum, but they've got the Washington defense, I would say for the first time, back on their heels and confused. They're looking over the sideline. They're confused. They look a bit rattled, and Boise State's cranking up the tempo and attacking right now.
Southwick scrambles out to the right. Expecting the original line of scrimmage. It'll be second down at 10. Justin Glenn, and he's been active at that safety position.
He's been all over the field. He's been really good against the run, and it's the guy that at times can be an Achilles heel for you in coverage and one-on-one coverage, but has been a guy so far today, especially in run support, has been out there making a lot of plays.
Draw play, Harper, and the Huskies defended that very well. Danny Shelton, 317-pounder from Auburn, Washington, making the stop.
Washington getting the substitutions in against this tempo, even though now Boise will take their time here on this third down. They've had a lot of success on third downs. They're 5 of 8 so far in this game.
Chris Peterson has to be thinking of going 4 downs. If they're having trouble kicking extra points, it's not going to be any easier kicking field goals either. Third down. Southwick steps up, comes in underneath the Potter. That's going to be short of the first down, but at least it's manageable. Timu makes the stop, and now Peterson's going to have to make the call here. Field goal unit is ready over there on the sideline, but there's no indication yet. It's 4th down and 2, and here they come.
He's thinking, okay, up 6 right now, chance to get up by 9 first half. Now you just got to go out and execute with the snap, the hold, and the kick.
Matt Miller is the holder for Frisino. Kevin Keene now is in as the long snapper today. 30-yarder on the way, and it's good. So Peterson makes the right call.
He makes the right call, and the other thing is, you got to give Washington's defense some credit. They buckled down in the red zone. This game could be even a lot worse than it is right now.
Exactly. So we've got a timeout here. It is a beautiful Saturday afternoon in Las Vegas, Nevada.
ESPN College Football, the MAACO Bowl Las Vegas, is brought to you by Las Vegas, where real fans know where to catch the games. Head to LasVegas.com today. The Experience Buick Lease. It's a new lease on luxury. And the Venture Card from Capital One. Earn double miles you can actually use.
Well, both teams got to see the Blue Man group perform, and that's Chris Potter, the wide receiver for Boise State. They're going to make him disappear. They're going to paint him blue. They're going to do all kinds of things to him. They're fun to watch. This
punter's not quite sure what he's getting into there.
He's wishing, why isn't my name Harry Potter?
Right.
I can wave the wand.
Yeah.
Here we go. Short kickoff. Fielded on the 22 by Kevin Smith. Kevin Smith is plowed under.
The Boise defense has had a great start to this football game. And, you know, one thing Washington knew, they had to protect the football to have a chance today. They've got 2 turnovers. There's a fumble. They've not been able to protect Price at all. Every time he's back to throw, he's either sacked or he's got a lot of pressure to deal with. And I think it's forced him to be able to throw the ball and just take some chances. That's kind of been a great illustration of his year, that last play, where he just doesn't get the help that he needs around him. The protection breaks down, and he tries to make something happen and forces the issue instead of letting the game come to him.
So the running play on the first down with Sankey. Taylor makes the stop. You know, Herbie, Pete Kwiatkowski is the fine defensive coordinator for the Broncos, and he has really done a good job with this group.
And here's your big tight end that we all love so much, Safarian Jenkins. Look at him lock on that time and make a heck of a block, and just kind of push that linebacker right down the field, open up more room there for Sankey.
And he battles his way toward that first down marker that time as Washington goes over 100 yards total. Offensively, Boise State has 155.
I'm glad you brought up Pete Kwiatkowski because he took over, as you said, when Justin Wilcox went to Tennessee. Does a great job with this defense and just has them dialed in every single game, playing their best.
And he and Wilcox are great friends. They went on a fishing trip to Montana this summer. And here they are dueling away as defensive coordinators in Las Vegas. And Sankey, again, bit of a workhorse back, isn't he?
The last 4 games of the year, he averaged 22 carries a game for 142 yards with 6 touchdowns. Here comes the Washington's version now of the no huddle as Sankey checks out of the game.
And Taylor deflected at the line of scrimmage. Taylor had checked in, and Price threw the ball.
Looks like Greg Graham's got his hand up there to knock that down. And with Price, when he stays in the pocket to throw the ball, this is one of the things you got to deal with is those defensive linemen are going to be able to knock that football down. He's at 6'1" in the pocket. Sometimes those defensive linemen can be a big distraction as it's tough to find windows. Another 3rd down for Washington. They're 0 for 5 on the day.
Pump fake. Going to take it downfield deep to Williams, incomplete. And he'll be forced to punt. Can't get that passing game going.
No. And I said earlier, if you're Pete Kwiatkowski and you're the defensive coordinator from Boise, you're going to take your chances, leave some guys on islands, take your chance, load up against that running game of Sankey, and force this quarterback Price to show that he can effectively throw the ball with that offensive line.
So Travis Coons will now punt, and Chris Potter back deep, and this is a booming high punt. Fair catch is the signal. Back at the 11-yard line. Boise State leading Washington 12-3. 7:41 left here in the first half. We welcome you back and remind you that Capital One Bowl Week continues Monday, the Sheraton Hawaii Bowl. Fresno State will play SMU. That's 8 Eastern on ESPN. You can also watch it live on ESPN app, and you'll hear it on ESPN Radio. Here are some of the SMU players arriving in Hawaii, and Fresno State in the Mountain West practicing. And there they are with a luau with the 2 teams. And Grant Hedrick has now checked in at quarterback. So he hands off on first down out to the 14. And Hedrick is a redshirt sophomore from Independence, Oregon.
As he comes in for a play, about 6 new players come running onto the field for the next play, including Joe Southwick.
I thought I was watching the Jets. Tim Tebow was going to get 1 snap and then go home. Southwick stands in tall and throws. Bull-Divide has been very active. And so here's a question. Did they just want to give Hedrick a little feel for the game?
That's a great question for a coach after the game. I mean, you have no idea. Southwick up to this point has been playing pretty well. I don't know if that was one of those things that was predetermined before the game started. Hey, Grant Hedrick, keep your head in the game. We're going to get you into the point in the first half, but comes in for 1 snap.
The whole series.
Yeah.
It'd be better than you would think. But anyway, here's a 3rd down. Joe Southwick. Here comes the blitz. Stands in, completes it to Miller. There's a penalty flag thrown by the back judge. And I wonder if this is going to go against the offense. This might be a pushing against the offense.
Pass interference. Number 2 on the offense. Going to be half the distance to the goal. Replay 3rd down.
Yeah, and Matt Miller committed the offensive pass interference.
But we talked about how big he is, and he clearly at the top of his route trying to get separation against a freshman. He just pushed him away to open himself up underneath. 6'3", 215 going up against Marcus Peters at 5'11", 190.
That's the first penalty of the game.
Yeah. 2 well-coached ball clubs. Actually, that's rare for Washington this year.
They've been
one of the most penalized teams in the country.
Here's 3rd down and 14 for Southwick. Backed up inside the 10-yard line. scrambles out. On the run, comes back to Miller for the first down. Across the 25-yard line. Bails him out on a long third down.
Rushing 3 and dropping 8. When you drop 8 into coverage, what it forces you to do is communicate. You've got to be able to communicate as receivers are leaving one zone and running into another. That time he bought time by being able to scramble away from the pressure and opened it up across the middle of the field.
18 yards, coming long, got a man open. And Burks, but there is a penalty flag back at the 19-yard line. I think this one's going to go against the Huskies.
Joe Southwick is fired up running down this field.
Personal foul, face mask, number 71 on the defense. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run, automatic first down.
So Shelton guilty.
And Boise State is notorious for trying to get guys to the outside and get them one-on-one. He's down at the bottom of the screen, and they'll double move you. They'll give you a little move to the inside, and this is against the freshman, Marcus Peters. Steve Sarkisian told us, listen, we know they're going to double move my freshman corner, Peters. We've got to be able to hold up when they go that way. That time, Burks gave a little move to the inside, a kind of a little pump and go, and he was able to leave Peters behind him, and it's a well-thrown ball there by Southwick.
Huddle! Hey, huddle! Huddle!
So the ball is going to be spotted.
Result of the play is a first down.
So the pass play stands, and the ball is going to be spotted at the 34-yard line.
Justin Wilcox knows that will not be the only time that Marcus Peters or Desmond Trufant are going to see that double move. There's a throw, maybe.
Double pass. Wide open, caught. Reaching for the touchdown. No signal down at the 1-yard line. Holden Huff, the tight end.
I don't know if he ever touched the ground. It didn't look like his body. It looked like he landed maybe on the defender, Justin Glenn, who was making the tackle. And obviously that's what they're talking about. Maybe one of them had a better vantage point.
Well, instant replay will take a look at it upstairs, as they do on every play in the college game. They'll stop it right now as they took a look at it.
Remember earlier when they threw to Potter and they said it kind of looked like he was I said, get ready, stay tuned. That one's going to come back.
The previous play is under review. The ruling on the field was that the runner was down 1 yard short of the goal
his
line.
knee touches. I looked like his body landed on Glenn. Here's Glenn behind him, actually makes the tackle. And maybe a knee touches, but it looks like,
I don't think
looks
he
like a touchdown.
Roll right over the defensive back, didn't he?
Yeah, that's what I thought. Lands on top of him and then extends across the goal line. The knee's there, but he's already across. But again, how about this? They're known for occasionally taking some chances. They go with a pump and go to get a big gain and come back the next play with the double pass where they throw to Potter and eventually get this ball thrown down to Huff.
Holden Huff has been probably the best catching tight end for Boise State this year. He caught 15 for 215 yards and a couple of touchdowns coming into this game. He's a redshirt freshman from Rockland High School, California.
He's a beauty. He's going to be one of those players 2 years from now, 3 years from now, you're going to be talking about as one of the great receivers, tight end type of guys that can flex out. Huff at number 85 as a freshman has been that kind of guy. They don't have a lot of dynamic playmakers, but Huff's been a guy that they could count on.
That was a terrific play call by Robert Prince down there.
Yeah.
That was a great spot. He and Chris talked about it. And Prince, of course, is upstairs. And Herbie has pointed out a couple of very talented offensive coordinators. Brian Harsin was down at Texas. He is now the head coach at Arkansas State. Brent Freese is the offensive coordinator of Florida. And so Robert Prince is here.
After review, the runner was on top of the defensive players and never was down, breaking the goal line. Touchdown.
And that's the beauty of instant replay.
Yeah, very aggressive drive there. 5 plays, 88 yards, and here they come again.
Lining up for a 2-point conversion. And faking it. It's Matt Miller going to run for the corner. Diving. Don't believe he got it. Travis Feeney, the linebacker from Richmond, California, redshirt freshman, was aggressively after him.
Boy, great speed that time, because it looked like as the play developed, he had a chance to get to the corner, but that gives you an indication of how fast Travis Feeney, as a linebacker, is able to chase him down and not allow him to pick up the 2 points.
But it's 18-3, Boise State with the lead on Washington. A 34-yard touchdown pass makes it 18-3. Holden Huff for 6 points.
And this play is developed because Potter is right here. Huff is actually right there as a tight end. I want you to see what the defense does when they get the ball and they feel like they got a chance to get Potter close to the boundary. Look how these guys are coming up. And when you play Boise State, especially right here, you got to be careful of these guys getting behind you. Eventually they're going to make this call. This time it's Justin Glenn, who's been overly aggressive against short routes and against the running game. He gets out of position, and it's a well-thrown ball by Potter. But the timing, as you said earlier, from Robert Prince and Chris Peterson was why that play worked.
Another short kickoff. Mickens will let this one go out of bounds. And the penalty flag comes flying. And we check in with John Saunders. John.
All right, Brent, thanks a lot. I want to remind everybody, coming up on the Reese's halftime report, we'll look at the New Orleans Bowl. That was a high-scoring affair in that one. Lisa Salters in the National Football League. Detroit facing Atlanta later on tonight. Plus, we'll look at all the Pac-12 teams in the bowl matchups they have coming up. Jesse and Todd join me. It's all coming up on the Reese's halftime report. Right now, back to Brent and Kirk.
All right, John, thank you very much. Merry Christmas to you and the gang back in the studio. Another game on Christmas Eve day. First down and 10. High snap. Price pulls it down. Works his way over the middle this time. And that is a big gain with Williams finally being forced out of bounds. Williams is a sophomore from the state of Washington. And he was all Pac-12 honorable mention this year.
Yeah, they actually move him right here. Usually he's to the outside. They do a little bit of a play-action fake just to hold the linebackers, make him a little bit hesitant. But Kason Williams, usually an individual player that's put by himself on one side of the field. And even when Price delivers the ball, Tyler Horn letting him feel the wrath from that defense.
39 yards on that pass play. And Price has time, but then he ran out of it and threw it out of bounds because breaking free was Chongachu. Ricky Chongachu was coming at him.
Bringing that pressure. Again, just for people to understand, this Boise State defense only allowed 3 touchdown passes all year. Now, they've held 4 teams to under 75 yards passing in a game. So, Keith Price, welcome to the party. And this is kind of how Boise State plays. And I got to tell you, the way they're winning the battle up front, if Washington's going to get back in this game, not just because they're trailing, but if they're going to have a chance, Price in the passing game, they're going to have to start to warm up.
Sankey searching 100 yards, and he's got it here in the first half. Breaks free. Touchdown, Washington. Bishop Sankey goes over 100 yards with that run on a 26-yard burst. And he now has 123 here in the first half. And what a huge score for the Huskies.
Really good blocking up front here. They keep going to the outside to work their running game. And it's Hatchie, the left tackle, who pulled around with a big block there. Also good blocks by the wide receiver, DeAndre Campbell, also getting involved in sealing that. Inside defender trying to get to the outside. Campbell prevented that from happening. So great execution on the outside and a big answer there for Washington to keep their hopes in this game in the first half.
Boone's tacks on the extra point. And Boise's lead is now just 1 score, 8 points. Remember, they failed at the 2-point conversion. Had they kicked the extra point, and we're up by 9, we'd have it on 2 scores. But with 4:42 to go here in the first half, it is a 1-score football game.
Got to give Washington's defense credit for keeping them in this game. A lot of times their offense has turned the ball over.
Yeah, here's the
Huskies
Huskies
out of the end zone.
Just talking about that. They went from 106 to 30th in total defense, with Wilcox moving from Tennessee back to the Northwest. Fourth straight year that they've had a 1,000-yard rusher, and Sankey already over 100 yards here in the first half. Now, what has slowed down, and of course that's Jay with the tight end. He's caught only one ball.
Right.
What has slowed them down, Herbie, considerably are those 2 turnovers, resulting in 6 Boise State points. Taking a knee, it'll come out of the 25. Let us check in down below with Tom Rinaldi. Tom.
Obviously important in that answer on that offensive drive there for Washington, but Steve Sarkisian, interestingly, coming over to the defense, really exhorting them, Brent, to dig in, stay focused, fight through any fatigue, look back to the sideline, understand the signals that are going to be sent in, and try to expect and adjust to this rhythm here from Boise State. There's a huge opportunity here for the Washington defense to see if they can't build on the momentum that the other side of the ball is giving them, Brent.
Yeah, this is a big game, Tom, for Sarkisian and his coaching staff. That was a humbling loss after leading Washington State by 18 points. Southwick and Ajayi in the backfield for Boise State. Off the play action on first down, Southwick fires high, and it'll be second down and 10.
Good job here by this offense trying to give Southwick just a little bit more time. Jai in that backfield, you can see here comes the blitz, doing what he can off of that play action fake, and good footwork there by Southwick to buy enough time. But they had 2 receivers in that route. That's all they had. He had the time to throw, but he just didn't have anybody open downfield.
Big series defensively for the Huskies. Second and 10, down 8 here in the first half. And they eat up the run. This is going to make it 3rd and long, and Travis Feeney, number 41, a 6'4" redshirt freshman linebacker, has been all over the field for the Huskies.
Feeney and Thompson both probably could play safety. I mean, Feeney plays at 210 pounds. Thompson plays at 215 pounds. And that's been the answer by a lot of defensive coordinators. They have to play in the Pac-12 where there's these spread attacks. They have a lot of speed. You've got to be able to counter that with guys that can run, and both 41 and 7 can do that.
Third down and 9. Southwick is in a foot race, looking downfield. Dashes forward for the first down. Very good run, and he turned it over at the end. Huskies signaling they got it at the end of this play. He couldn't hang on, had the first down, and then coughed up the football.
And Brent, Josh Shirley is a great example of never giving up on a play. The sophomore comes from the backside. He chased that all the way down. He was chasing him from the line of scrimmage. He beat his man, the left tackle, and he's going all the way down the field trying to not give up on a play. Here he is right here. Eventually, he's going to catch up to him. Instead of giving up on the play, it's his effort and hustle that creates that turnover to get the ball back.
Now it's Keith Price and the Huskies. Got it back. They attack in Boise State territory across from 35. Sankey, the ball carrier, and Southwick, not only was he stopped after the first down, turned it over, and he's receiving some attention over there on the sideline.
Washington comes right back. I talked about how important it's going to be for Price in this passing game, and they've had that big run by Sankey to get into the end zone for a touchdown to get them with 8 points, and come right back again for another decent gain here on 1st and 10, still running the football.
Price fires down the far side, incomplete. That was Hartvickson, one of their tight ends, was the intended target. I'll tell you, Keith Price is taking some punishment.
What a surprise. Price is on his back again. I mean, this is a defensive line without their best pass rusher, DeMarcus Lawrence, and these young men have really stepped up. Darren Kuntz has played a remarkable first half today, along with Bo Martin. They're getting in there almost every throw. They've got pressure on Price.
Third down and 7. And quick flanker screen and nothing doing for Mickens. He's popped out of bounds by you-know-who, Jamar Taylor. And boy, if you see a coverage guy who can come up and support like that and get a man out of bounds, he's a big-time defensive
There's nothing
back.
better than watching a corner who's known for his coverage skills being willing to be physical in support like that. I mean, he didn't hesitate. He came up. It wasn't about, let me guess which way he's going to go. He ran right through the receiver there. He's well short of that first down.
Huskies are going to go for it here. 2:48 remaining. Timeout is going to be called by Sarkisian's staff.
Timeout, Washington. They're first.
So they'll face a
30 seconds.
4th down and 5 here, and so that spirited touchdown by the Huskies, pulling them back to within 8. Then they get their first turnover of the game, and they're right back in the thick of it. And we've got a good ball game unfolding here. You never know with a bowl game what you're going to get.
You really don't. I like the fact that we're doing a bowl game that's before Christmas, and both teams have shown up and they want to win. And they're playing hard. The answer there by Washington gives them some hope. Then they get a turnover. They get a chance here to get some points before the half. But let's not forget this first half, I think, is about Washington with their 2 turnovers and the Washington defense, instead of giving up touchdowns, forcing the 2 field goals in the red zone. That's why they're still in this game.
Let's remember that this is the first of a 2-season doubleheader, if you will. These same 2 teams will open the season in the newly remodeled Husky Stadium next on August 31st in Seattle. So Keith Price here on 4th down, needs it, throw to the sideline, and they're not going to pick Jamar Taylor again. You're not going to make a living picking on number 5. I'm kind of surprised that they're going after him like they are.
And I'm looking at the tight end thinking, okay, who's going to match up with the tight end here? And are they going to use 2 guys to take him away? He's in the middle of the field. Price never even looks his way. And again, they challenged Taylor, who's an all-conference corner. And the ball, the way it was thrown, it never had a chance. What a surprise again that Keith Price feels that pressure and is on his back yet again.
So they take over on downs. Southwick in trouble, slips away. He will be down at the 35-yard line on that first down run.
He came clean. The back who tried to step up and help out this time, Ajayi, had no chance. I mean, he timed that blitz perfectly. He just couldn't come up with the tackle. And there's the speed and quickness there by Southwick. Not a big gain, but not a big loss for Boise State.
Now Harper will try to see what he can do, and he is stopped on the second. He keeps going.
He did keep going. I think the fans thought that whoever tackled him grabbed him by the face mask, but in fact, I think he just grabbed his shoulder pad to bring him back.
Here's 3rd and 3. Timeout called by Southwick. Boise State will burn its first. So I want to remind everybody, Capital One Bowl week continues Wednesday now. The Little Caesars Bowl from Detroit, Michigan. Western Kentucky will be playing Central Michigan. This is Western Kentucky's first bowl appearance as an FBS school. Willie Taggart went there for the Stanford staff, did a great job. Then he moved on to South Florida. And of course, Western Kentucky with the most controversial hire, Herbie, in the offseason. They bring back Bobby Petrino, who had been run off from Arkansas for all sorts of misdeeds over there. And what's your feeling about Western Kentucky giving Bobby Petrino's second, make it the 4th or 5th chance?
Yeah, I think a lot of people anticipated with so many openings that Bobby Petrino might land somewhere and get a job. And I think that the folks of Western Kentucky are willing to say, you know what, he's obviously used this year to be able to try to grow away from football and give him that second chance, or as you said, maybe 4th or 5th chance, and see how he can do there. I want to know, can the MAC win a game before their heavyweight tilt in the Orange Bowl with Northern Illinois and Florida State? So far, they're 0 for 2, and they've looked poor in both their performances.
3rd down and 3 here for Southwick and the Broncos. Parker can't get the first down. Very well defended by Shaq Thompson, the freshman from Sacramento, went to Grant High School.
Yep. Again, it's like a broken record, but we keep talking about Shaq Thompson and both he and Travis Feeney making plays. This time it is Thompson, the freshman. And when Steve Sarkisian says that this guy could have gone out of high school and played as a freshman in a lot of the Pac-12 schools as a tailback, but for whatever reason he wants to hit people. This guy, forget about carrying the ball and getting all the glory. He wants to play linebacker so he can hit people.
Now, he had committed verbally to California.
Right.
And then when a couple of coaches moved to the Northwest,
yep,
Thompson changed his mind and he went with them to play for Washington. And he is the biggest recruit that the Huskies had coming in this year.
Look at the difference in a year. I mean, everybody has that vision. And there's Justin Wilcox of that bowl game against RG3. And not to pour all on Nick Holt, the defensive coordinator at the time. They've made some personnel changes as well. But it's been remarkable to see the difference a year can make for the Huskies defense.
This will take a Washington bounce. A 1:40 to go. It'll go out of bounds across the 40-yard line. That's a 22-yard punt. Now the Huskies have 1:37 to work with, Herbie, and a timeout.
I was going to say, minute 37, you got a timeout. You got an offensive guy like Sarkisian with a quarterback that if they'll just give him some time, you can get yourself into field goal range with Travis Coons, who's 7'11", longest from 45 yards. So you got a shot there to be able to try to at least take a shot at the field goal.
He's 4 of 6 from 40 to 49.
Right.
So if they can move quickly, but the question is the passing game.
Can they give him time to throw? Heck with it, just run the big fella.
Crosses the 40 on first down.
Now you got to hurry up. You're going to go with a first down run. You only got one timeout. Now you got to crank it up.
Tyler Horn with the stop. He's a very versatile defensive lineman for Boise State. Does a fine job.
About 30 yards to go to have a real 25 yards to go to have a shot at the field goal.
Plenty of time. Almost threw an interception. Got it off toward ASJ, but that was not a good decision on the way down. No, and you can't take a sack there either.
No, you can't, and he looks like he's hurt. I mean, we saw it earlier. He took a shot. This time he's coming up. He takes another shot. He's bent over. I thought he was going to actually come out of the game, and Sarkisian kind of says, you know, let's tough it out and try to get through this. But did you see how he threw the ball, just trying to make something happen? That's why he has 11 interceptions, now 12 after today on the year, trying to force things when they're not there.
Need 6, or they're going to have to punt it away. He's going to throw back. Sankey's got the first down, breaks free down the far sideline. And out of bounds, a terrific throwback. Thompson may have saved a touchdown on Bishop Sankey that time, but the Huskies are in business.
Steve Sarkisian calling this throwback screen at a perfect time on third down, and they're able to catch this defense completely napping and not anticipating this. They get once he's able to outrun the defensive lineman, he gets some good blocks downfield and a huge gain, and now not just a shot at maybe a field goal, now they're thinking about trying to get a touchdown here.
Well, they've got about a minute here. Herbie Taylor checks into the backfield after that big play. Throws to the end zone, incomplete, and it will be second down.
Targeting by the defense.
Yeah, Mickens,
defenseless
was
player,
knocked down. The ball was just across the 20 in the red zone at the 18-yard line. You know, not only was that a big play that we just saw, that was the first third down conversion of the game for Washington.
That's right.
It's going to be half the distance to the goal. Automatic first down.
Again, these are always the calls that people get frustrated by, but it's came in a little bit too high, hit him in the head there.
That's a very good call.
Yeah,
that's a very good call.
He's actually, he's parallel to the ground.
No question. So, Herbie, the ball is going to be spotted about the 8-yard line. They go half the distance on that, and it's a first down and goal. Sankey, who's over 100 yards here, 130 yards rushing in the first half, obviously is back on the field. And if they're going to run it down here, he'll be the go-to guy. Trailing by 8, they empty the backfield, however.
Here's the big guy.
Looking for him in the back of the end zone. We tried to get it to him, Herbie. And Austin Safarian-Jenkins a little bit too high, and that's hard to do with him.
Yeah, they finally went away from going back into the line, back into the boundary. They go back to the field to the big guy and try to take advantage of his size. Gives you an idea how soft his hands are at 6'6", 260. He almost came down there, even though he would have been out of bounds. It would have been a heck of an effort just to be able to try to catch the football. At 6'6", against safeties that are 5'11" and 6 feet tall, I think you got to take your chance with him.
Price. And he's shy of the 5-yard line with Bo Martin making the stop for Boise, and that'll bring up a 3rd and goal.
He's still patient. You still have that timeout, but you gotta at the same time hold that timeout just in case there's a sack or something happens. You're short of the goal line. You can use that last timeout. Got to look at the coverage. Good job being patient here.
Price gonna take off for the end zone. Dives to the goal line. Touchdown. Keith Price patiently picked his way that time and made it to the goal line for a Husky touchdown. But let's check the replay here.
That is tremendous poise and patience, both from the sidelines, from Sarkisian, and from Price. It's a matter of whether or not that knee touches before the ball extends and gets across the plane. But look at his knee as he's extending right there. It's tough to be able to see from that vantage point. But
I don't think you can turn it over from either of those pictures.
Yeah, no. So far, the play, the call on the field would stand.
And that Kyrie Marshall is down here for Boise State being tended to at the goal line. He was shaken up on the play.
And again, the clock's ticking down. People are probably like, snap the ball, snap the ball. Remember, the sideline, they have a chance. If he comes up short, he's at the 1-yard line. They got the 1 timeout left. You can call the timeout. If he falls in a little short with 3 seconds left, you get the timeout, then you can kick the field goal.
Very critical decision here. There's only 3 seconds left. Should instant replay rule that the knee was down, you pretty much have got to send the field goal unit quickly onto the field. But they've looked at it now, and nothing has called down. The kicker is on the field. Now, he's hopeful that he's kicking for an extra point. The Huskies have the kicking team on the field. And so the instant replay folks so far have not indicated that they're going to turn this over at all.
Washington may have caught a break after the whistle blew. One of their own offensive linemen, Ben Riva, the right tackle, lowering his head. And I think that's why we had that injury to Kyrie Marshall.
So this is the extra point. And they'll make it a 1-point game with 3 seconds remaining. The MAACO Bowl, Las Vegas. 18-17. Good one. Unfolding out west with the Pac-12 and the Mountain West. Happy holidays, everybody. 18-17. We're ready for the final play here of the first half. It will be a kickoff by the Huskies. William Rhodes, one of the deep men, and they will bring it back. He's got great speed. He's down at the 33-yard line as time runs out here in the first half.
What a first half.
Was that indeed?
Ball game.
Joe Southwick and the Broncos heading out with a 1-point lead in this game. And Herbie mentioned Sankey rushed for 130 yards, caught 2 passes for 48 more yards. Let's go down to Tom Rinaldi. Tommy?
How big was that score? That was big. You know, we started getting some plays and some yards and chunks there in the last few drives, and it helped us. You know, we were playing 2 and 3 yards in a cloud of dust. That's hard to do against that defense. So we were able to get some big plays, the pass to Case and Bishop getting out on some runs, and then obviously the screen pass.
They came out in a hurry-up, no huddle, kind of a surprise. What challenge was that to adjust to?
Well, it's just something they hadn't shown a lot of. We settled back in on it. It's unfortunate we gave up the long 3rd and 20 play there, but after that, you know, I think we settled and we'll be all right.
Price taking a lot of punishment. How do you better protect him?
Well, we got to keep trying to move the pocket some, utilize the quick game, and then hopefully, you know, the 2 turnovers don't help us. We got to take care of the ball better in the second half.
Thanks very much, Sark. Appreciate it. Brent?
All right, thank you, Tom. It's a 1-point game here at the MAACO Bowl, Las Vegas, 18-17. Boise State with the lead. Now let's send you to John Saunders and the gang. John?
You're watching ESPN's presentation of Capital One Bowl Week.
Welcome you back to the MAACO Bowl, Las Vegas, and Washington of the Pac-12 against Boise State of the Mountain West, and the Broncos lead it by 1 point as we start the 3rd quarter. Boise State will get the ball to start the second half here. As the first half, we want to take a look at some of the highlights, Herbie.
Yeah, it was an interesting first half. This is a big drive, I thought, for Joe Southwick. A double move here where they started to get pretty aggressive with their play calling. Ended up being a 5-play drive, 88 yards and a touchdown right here, or a double throw. They got it to Connor, ended up throwing to the tight end there for a touchdown. It's down 18-3. You're thinking Washington's in trouble, but all of a sudden you get Bishop Sankey with a big touchdown run. They get the ball back after a turnover, picks up 42 more yards here on a pass on 3rd down, and eventually Keith Price, with the clock ticking down, would go in to get a touchdown to get it to 1-point game. So an exciting first half.
Boise State will receive the second half kickoff, and Mickens from the 10-yard, I should say, Williams Rhodes, looking for daylight over on the left-hand side. 25 for Boise, and slammed down there. It'll be 1st and 10 as we take a look at the first half stats, brought to you by the Idaho Potato Commission. And you can see Washington did a much better job very late in the second quarter.
Yeah, what stands out to me, you see the 238 yards, but the last 3 drives Washington had the ball. They had 128 yards and scored their 2 touchdowns. But the 2 turnovers, if Washington's going to be able to get into this second half and win it, they cannot turn the ball over the way they did in that first half.
So Joe Southwick with a 1st down and 10 from his own 24-yard line. Harper's the running back after play action, looking to go deep. Hangs it in the air, incomplete. Mitch Burrows was working deep, and Desmond Trufant, number 6, was back there with him. And Desmond Trufant is a big-time DB for Washington.
And he floats this ball up into the air and gives Trufant plenty of time to be able to make an adjustment on the football, and he high points the ball. You see him go up and easily knock that ball away from Mitch Burrows. The thing is, Southwick gave up on an underneath route for about 10 or 15 yards.
Quick throw to the outside.
It's a big part of the game. You know, 18-3, Boise State's up. Washington scores those 2 touchdowns late to get it to 18-17. How things get started here to start this second half, who can gain the momentum early is big. So this means this first 3rd down here, the second half, pretty big for both teams.
3rd down and 8 for Boise State. Washington hoping to keep it going here. Stop the Broncos and force a 3 and out to start the second half. Southwick, middle, Miller, 1st down. His go-to receiver, Matt Miller.
Nice route and a good job here by Robert Prince. Watch the linebackers get caught up in the underneath routes. You get caught up and it opens up a huge lane there for Southwick to make that throw on 3rd down.
Now it's Harper stretching it, looking to catch the edge on that far side, and he does before Justin Glenn makes the stop. So Boise on that third down picks up 15, and now they get it going.
Good job on the left side here. They get the first down. The seal block there by the left tackle. Leno gets some good blocks on the perimeter. Next thing you know, Harper's got a lot of room there to run, and here come the Broncos.
They're at the Huskies' 40-yard line. Going to throw on first down, incomplete, and it will be second down and 10. Holden Huff, the tight end, who caught a touchdown pass in the first half from Potter. Boise State jumped out to an 18-3 lead before Washington came back and scored twice within the final 5 minutes of the first half. And Chris Peterson yelling out to Joe on the sideline, goes incomplete.
Bringing the pressure that time with Timo, the middle linebacker. And if you're just tuning in and you're seeing Boise State, they've been running a lot of no huddle. They're going to huddle up here before this third down, but they came out and kind of sprung a no huddle up-tempo attack on Washington, something they've not shown all year. A lot of that had to do with being an equalizer to help them with the battle up front in the trenches, but also they thought eventually it would wear Washington down in the second half. We'll see if that plays out for Chris Peterson.
7 of 13 on third downs. They've hit their first one here. They come back now on third down and 10. Drops it off in underneath, and nothing doing that time. And Timo made the stop on DJ Harper.
I'll tell you, the guy that's really had a pretty good game here is Josh Shirley, 22 for Washington. He doesn't have a lot of numbers right now, but he's affected Joe Southwick enough to make him either throw the ball before he's ready or get out of the pocket and force him to just throw the ball away.
So they're going to go for it here on fourth down and 5 to start the second half. Need to reach the 30-yard line. Southwick looking far side, and that could be short. And a penalty flag comes flying late against Marcus Peters, who was the defensive back over there. And if he's guilty, of course, it's the automatic first down.
Peters played that tight, anticipating a short throw there on fourth down. Now, one thing you wonder about, did he hold on to the jersey?
Seems to be an extra long conversation for a play like this.
Peters was all over him. Might have been a little bit too much while the ball was in the air.
Pass interference, number 21 on the defense. Penalty will be spotted at the spot of the foul. The ball will be spotted at the spot of the foul.
You guys see how tight he is here,
down.
Brent, but when Miller tries to come back to the ball, clearly he locks on to the jersey.
He never took his hands off.
No. And again, freshman. You're a quarterback. Fourth down, you're going after the freshman.
The discussion was, should it be the 15 yards if they'd had the first down or the spot? And it was obviously the spot. So it'll be first down and 10 for Southwick and Boise. And they'll run that end around right now. And nothing doing. Every time you see Shane Williams-Rhodes come in motion like that, they're going to use that end around. And Andrew Hudson made the stop for Washington.
Hudson, 93, a sophomore. I talked about Josh Shirley, a sophomore. You start to look at Washington in their front seven. They've got Hudson, Shelton, and Shirley up front, 3 sophomores. You've got 2 freshman linebackers in Thompson and Feeney, and Timo, who's a sophomore. So 6 of your front 7 guys are either a freshman or a sophomore for the Huskies.
Second down and long after that loss. There again, and it's a double reverse, and they're going to throw back. Potter, who's thrown 1 touchdown pass, and he's brought down from behind by Travis Feeney, the linebacker.
That was good coverage and good discipline by the Washington defense. Again, you know it's coming. It's a matter of when is it coming. We saw Potter throw a touchdown pass earlier. This time he's trying to get the ball thrown back, and the Washington defense stayed at home, and he didn't have anywhere to go with the football. See the coverage here. He wants to actually throw it back to Williams-Rhodes. There's a defender, Shaq Thompson, the freshman, waiting there to be able to make a play on it. Made Potter just give up on the ball.
3rd down and 18. Southwick leads trouble and takes off. Trying to get the 1st down, and he appeared to be down just short of it. It's going to be marked. It'll be 4th down. Will Schamberger. So here at Boise State, I don't think they're even going to think about it. They're going to go for it, aren't they?
Joe Southwick, Chris Peterson said, we want him to run more on 3rd down, and he's done that today. This is 3rd down and a mile. They get great pressure. He avoids it. Then he makes a move on a linebacker and picks up huge yards.
So here they come, and Southwick right straight behind Paradis. Matt Paradis, the redshirt junior from Council High School, Idaho. The lead center there with Kellogg and Ames alongside. They pick up a 1st and 10.
Aggressive here early in this 3rd quarter. As you said, you know, the scramble to get it to 4th and inches was huge by Southwick and made it very easy to convert there on that 4th down.
So the ball resting just across the 20-yard line for Boise State. Southwick will swing it out. They get to the 15-yard line with Shane Williams-Rhodes.
What kind of quickness does he have? 5'6", 155 pounds. You better be quick, right?
Exactly. He's from Spring, Texas.
Oh, man, he can get upfield in a hurry. We talked about trying to wear this defense out at up-tempo. Remember when Washington faced tempo against Arizona and against Oregon, among others, they struggled. A lot of missed assignments, a lot of busts. It wasn't just the speed and the execution from Oregon and Arizona. They made some mistakes.
You see those hands on the hips. That's usually a signal when players are tired. 2nd down and 5. Southwick fires complete. It is a 1st down with Chris Potter, so it'll be a 1st down and goal. Justin Glenn didn't let him free for the touchdown.
Washington brought a blitz, and what Southwick does a good job of is finding the matchup. He's got a lot of one-on-one opportunities out there, so he decides to find Chris Potter, 5'9", 160 pounds, matched up against Glenn, who's a safety. That's an advantage to Boise State. Good recognition by Southwick to find that matchup and get the ball out there.
Harper picks his way close to the goal line. It'll be 2nd down and goal. This is the opening drive of this half, and it's about a 6-minute drive. And remember, they converted 3rd down of the first series. They've converted a 4th down, and Herbie, as you pointed out, Joe Southwick with that big 3rd down run.
It's such an impressive drive. 14 plays and 73 yards. We talked about the importance of these opening minutes to start this 2nd half in a close game. And right now, Boise State, very impressive start here in the 2nd half.
Play action. Touchdown, Boise State. Holden Huff's 2nd touchdown of the day. That's from Joe Southwick. The earlier one was thrown by Chris Potter in the 1st half. But Huff with 2 TDs.
Just a great call here. Watch these linebackers cheat up. They're all thinking about stopping the run. And when they go up to be able to stop Harper, they're out of position. And an easy throw for Southwick to find Huff for that 2nd touchdown. Great call there early and down in distance there for Boise State.
Like you see, tacks on the extra point. Boise State receives the 2nd half kickoff and marches for the touchdown. You come back to the MAACO Bowl, Las Vegas. The Washington Huskies will be receiving a kickoff.
Visit WatchESPN.com or download the Watch ESPN app to watch ESPN live anytime, anywhere. Brought to you by Vizio.
An 8-point lead for Boise State here again. Harmon with the ball on the tee. And Jaden Mickens, the freshman from Los Angeles, is back deep.
Pretty good way for Boise State to start that drive. You're not talking at the break. 15 plays, almost 7 minutes. Boy, oh boy.
Right.
Couple 4th down conversions there.
Mickens is being held in the end zone. freshman was thinking about it, and the junior went back and said, no, I don't think we should do that. Price was beat up a little bit in the first half.
Not only sacked a couple times, but here's an effort that by Const that ended up getting into his legs. He was hit many, many times after he threw the ball. In fact, it's hard to find a highlight where he didn't get hit on a pass. So it's one of those kind of halves, something he's dealt with for most of the year. That the graphic there doesn't really show the punishment that he had to withstand there in the first half. We'll see if that has any effect on him, because they did finish in a flurry there with 14 straight points in the last couple of drives.
Jonathan Amosa, a big fullback from Seattle, on the field for the Huskies here as we start the second half. They're going to try to run the ball. Sankey had a huge first half, and he picks his way for another first half. He has been just outstanding. Watch Bishop's work along the sideline.
Yeah, he doesn't give up on this play. He's not thinking about, oh, I've got 4 or 5 yards, I'm just going to tiptoe out of bounds. He may have stepped out there, but at least the effort and determination there to try to pick up as many yards as he could. I made a comment about how important their passing game will be for them to get back into this game, but really it's been Sankey. I mean, he's had a big reception, but for the most part, they've been able to run the ball despite Boise concentrating most of their effort to stop the running game.
And they're going to stick with that running game and dropping the hammer again. Stop made by J.C. Percy.
He's just a good-looking back. And I think 5'10", 200 pounds, runs hard, he's quick, durable. Mentioned how he's averaged over 22 carries the last 4 games late in the year. I think he seems to be one of these backs that kind of a throwback, seems to get better as the game goes on.
He's from Spokane, went to Gonzaga Prep. Alongside Williams, we had a big play late in the first half, and Williams picks up the first down. Let's check in with Tom.
Chris Peterson, as he came in at the start of the second half, asked him about how he felt his defense was playing. He said, he thought they were sound technically in terms of the schematic, but he was very frustrated at the inability to tackle Bishop Sankey. So we feel like we understand where he's going to go, but when we get there, we're not wrapping him up, and that's why he's gaining the yards that he is.
And Tom, they're at midfield right now with a 1st and 10, and here is Sankey. And again, the first man does not bring him down, although that wasn't much of a gain. It still took a second player to come in on and finally bring down the sophomore, the 200-pound sophomore. He's 5'10", and so now Herbie Sankey has rushed for 147 yards, caught 2 passes for 48 yards.
I'm surprised that Boise State, they still are continuing to show 2 high safeties. Surprised they're not cheating even more defenders towards Sankey on almost every single play.
2nd down, and now it'll be 3rd down and 10. It has been difficult for Keith Price to get the ball in the hands of his very talented tight end in this game. That's been a key in this game so far. He's caught only 1 pass for 5 yards. Remember, they missed him late in the back of the end zone. They overthrew him a little bit high, and this is somebody who really want to try to get going in this game. He's caught 63 passes for 791 yards and 6 touchdowns coming into this game. So here's your 3rd down and 10. Fires in underneath, and a 1st down. So they go to who? Number 25, Bishop Sankey. He does it all.
Yeah, they actually, he does everything. When in doubt, just find number 25. He's going to be able to make some plays. He actually 27 catches coming on the year. Look at the replay here. See how the receiver there actually went through the zone? The fact that he went through there initially froze the linebackers, and I think Sankey coming behind that caught them by surprise, and it made it a very easy throw for a quarterback struggling to get into rhythm. An easy throw and a 1st down.
Taylor replaces him for the time being. 1st and 10 at the 35-yard line. Price in trouble, eludes it. And now he is down at the 40. That's a loss of 5 yards on that play. And Tyler Horn, the redshirt sophomore, he's one of those fellows that's replacing the defensive end DeMarcus Lawrence, who was disciplined and sent home from Vegas back up to Boise.
Shea McClellan, Chase Baker, Billy Wynn, Tyrone Crawford, all these guys up into the NFL, 4 defensive linemen that they missed from a year ago. And these new defenders, even with DeMarcus Lawrence not here, their best pass rusher, they have owned Washington up front when it comes to getting a pass rush on this quarterback. They don't have a chance up front to stop them.
Sankey's back on the field. He gets the handoff. And he is short of the original line of scrimmage on this play. So here comes another big third down.
I think this is a great example for people that still look at Boise State as that small school. Here they are playing a Pac-12 school, and they're physically whipping them when it comes to getting a pass rush on a quarterback.
Third and 11. Throws it complete for the first down. And Williams is to the 12-yard line. And a big play here.
Chungachu gets pressure. Boise State rushed 3 here. They're showing blitz, and then they back out. They rush 3 guys. Chungachu gets in there still, and Price just basically throws this ball up, and he finds a hole with 8 guys back in coverage, and he finds Williams, his go-to man, who's got size at 6'2", 216 pounds. But that was poor coverage by Boise State.
That was 23 yards on 3rd and 11. Price will hand off to Sankey. And Sankey to the 7-yard line. Percy making the stop there.
Tell you what, when you're going up against Sankey, and keep in mind, this guy's a sophomore. You always hear that term, big boy pads. This guy is a hard runner. 5'10", 200 pounds. But once he squares his shoulders, he's a handful. It's hard for one guy to bring him down. Even when you know he's going to get it, it's hard to stop him.
Price quickly up under center, hands back to him, and this time Boise jumps the running back. He's still short of the 5-yard line. Chungachu, Ricky Chungachu, redshirt junior from Amsterdam, went to Boise High School when he came here. There's a couple of youngsters from Amsterdam on this Boise State team, and now here comes your 3rd down, and Mickens, the freshman wide receiver from Dorsey High School in Los Angeles, comes onto the field for Sarkisian. So here's your 3rd and 4. Mickens motions out. Price rolls in that direction. Can't find him. Got to cut back. Now fires for a touchdown. Great read by Price coming back. And that is Austin Safarian-Jenkins with the touchdown.
They're looking to roll right away from Safarian-Jenkins, and it's just good coverage. And instead of just throwing it away, he tries to keep the play alive. This is where he's improvising, and what better guy to look up than Safarian-Jenkins? Look at him. He's like, oh, did he throw it? No. Oh, we still got a shot here. Finds an opening, uses his size, just falls into the end zone.
Now they're going to go for 2 to try to tie it this time. So 25-23. Price is back. Quick throw, and it's incomplete. Pass was broken up by Ione. Jeremy Ione broke it up. You know, that's a young man who went to the same high school as Manti Te'o, the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. Big play by number 10.
ESPN College Football, the MAACO Bowl Las Vegas, is brought to you by Las Vegas, where real fans know where to catch the games. Head to LasVegas.com today. Volkswagen and Hilton Garden Inn.
The skyline of Las Vegas and a little bit of buzz down there in those casinos. And tonight, they've got a Monday night special. NFL coming your way on ESPN. The Atlanta Falcons are in Detroit to take on the Lions. Shane Victorino will be with the Boston Red Sox this year. He's in attendance at the MAACO Bowl Las Vegas. I believe he finished up last season with the Los Angeles Dodgers and signed with the Red Sox. And now it will be Boise's turn here. And Williams Rhodes coming back with the kickoff. And he's out to the 26-yard line. We'll take a break and come back. lot of tourists love to get their pictures taken by that iconic sign. Well, I mentioned the Falcons and the Lions tonight. There's a very big connection with Boise State. Dirk Cutter is the offensive coordinator for the Falcons. He'll be calling plays. He and Matt Ryan have been on the same page all year long. And, of course, Cutter and Chris Peterson worked together when Cutter was the head coach. And really, when you go back to the start of this great run by Boise State, it was Dirk who started it all. And Chris Peterson has kept it coming. But what a job Cutter is doing calling plays for Matt Ryan and the Falcons. You can catch that act tonight in Detroit. So here we go. Southwick is back now on the move. Going to have to throw it away. Didn't find an open receiver, Irby.
No, great point about Dirk Cutter. Marvelous job this year as an offensive coordinator. And you're right. People forget they think of Dan Hawkins, but Dirk Cutter really did a good job. You know, when we were at that break, we'll talk about this more in a second, but I think Washington understands the urgency here. 2:14 to go, down by 2. 2:14 left in the third quarter. It's a big drive again. Southwick has really had his way throwing the football, especially downfield.
Second down, they run to draw, and Harper is wrestled down at the 29-yard line. Here's that aggressive defense again.
And here's Keith Price, who's just been battered during the break, out on the field talking to the defense. I love to see. Here's a young quarterback out there trying to get his defense ready for a pivotal drive instead of over there feeling bad for himself because he's been hit on literally every throw that he's made. That shows you what kind of leader he is for this football team.
3rd and 17. And there's a penalty flag. I should say 3rd and 7. There's a penalty flag. That's a false start.
Yep.
This makes this another very tough 3rd down, although Southwick and Boise, they are 7 of 15 over on 3rd.
And remember the last long 3rd and long, he ended up scrambling for huge yards. And that's something, he told us, you know, our goal is for me to get to about 50 yards rushing, whether it's design run or scrambles, whatever it might be. And right now he's got 46 yards rushing. So remember, he's a threat not only throwing the ball, but also the athletic ability and speed to make something happen if guys are covered downfield.
Southwick has it knocked free and recovers it. That was almost a fumble. Coming around the corner was Josh Shirley. What a great job he did here.
Yeah, Shirley's been coming all night long from the offense's left side against Charles Leno. This time, he gets to home. This time he gets to pressure. Leno struggled just with that speed move to the outside. He's held him a number of times. I've been watching and it has not been called. That time Boise State catches a break, but Shirley, who's had a great game this time, gets to him.
So Bruns is back deep. Harmon's punt is fielded at about the 37, just shy of the 40-yard line. And let us check in the studio now with John Saunders. John.
Well, Brent, Kentucky, you know, they just reload with the freshmen, so a couple of them here start to team up against Marshall. Goodwin to Poitras. He takes it in. Finger roll. As Kentucky's pulling away 78-49. That's on ESPN2. Missouri and Illinois will follow that on ESPN2, so that's a great matchup. Syracuse loses for the first time this year. Brent, back to you.
All right, John, thank you very much. First down and 10 here for Keith Price and the Huskies. Trailing by a couple of points. Throws to the big tight end, but nothing doing on this, and out of bounds. Taylor had ASJ on that one. And, of course, Capital One Bowl week continues Monday with the Sheraton Hawaii Bowl. Fresno State of the Mountain West will play SMU, and that's 8 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. Heard that June Jones going back home with SMU. He had great success with the Hawaii,
that's right.
The Rainbow Warriors.
You always worry about your team going all the way to Hawaii, staying focused. June Jones will make sure they're ready to play. Fresno had a surprising year this year, too.
So they get Price out of the way now and snap it directly to the Wildcat. They have used that a few times here today. Sankey, the ball carrier. They just get him the ball any way they can, I think, Irby.
Yeah, we have seen, and we talked earlier, of Washington running the ball, whether it's the direct snap to Sankey or Price handing it off. A lot of times to the edges, not way outside, but to the edges, like over the tackle or the tight end. It's because Boise is slanting and angling so much up front that they're pinching everything into the middle of that defense, and it's opened up some nice running lanes for Sankey to the outside.
Quick third quarter. That long ball control drive by Boise State to start the second half. We got a good one brewing here in Las Vegas.
Here we go, boys.
Come on back to the MAACO Bowl, Las Vegas.
Hi, I'm Desmond Petty from the University of Washington. I just want to say happy holidays. Go Dogs.
Hello, my name is Andrew Hudson. I'm from Redlands, California, and I want to wish everybody happy holidays. Go Dogs.
Hi, hello, I'm Jadon Mickens from the Washington Huskies, and I just want to wish everyone a happy holidays. Go Dogs.
Yes, indeed, and there is a Boise State Santa for you right there. Third down, it's a big one here for the Huskies as we start the fourth quarter. They need 6 yards. Price throws for it, and he's got the first down to open the fourth quarter. Kason Williams.
What a great matchup, man-to-man against a true freshman. He gets the big body receiver. Williams gets inside position and does a good job of throwing that ball in front of him. Cannot say enough about Keith Price and what he has faced all year and again today to be able to continue to stand in there the best he can when he's getting hit on every throw. That time on third down, he makes a good throw to Williams for the first.
Taylor checks in. Going to try to drop it off to Mickens, incomplete. We have a fine crowd on hand. I was told by the organizers, by 25,000, but it comes up 33,217 today, Herbie.
That's great.
That's the 8th largest crowd that they've had in this bowl history.
A lot of walk-ups.
Yeah, weather was great.
Yeah,
you know, and as you made the observation, this is the 3rd straight year that Boise State has come here. In fact, they're trying to become the first team to win 3 consecutive MAACO Bowl Las Vegas appearances. BYU won 2 in a row once, but never 3 in a row. Boise State could do that here today. Second down and 10 now for the Huskies. They'll run the toss play with Sankey trying to get over. Let me check that. That was Taylor who stayed in the game that time. He's the freshman from Chandler, Arizona's Hamilton High School. Chandler turns out some good football players, don't they?
Yeah, sure. Yes, sir. Good pursuit that time by the defense. Actually, Dextrell Simmons was able to get to the corner and force Taylor back to the inside.
Back to that third down again.
They've converted 6 straight third downs here. See if that streak continues or Boise State can get pressure again to try to stop Price.
Taylor stays right on the field as the running back. Picks up the rush man. Yes. And he went to the big fella that time. ASJ pulls in another one.
They finally are able to locate him, and he doesn't get rerouted at the line of scrimmage. Percy stays back off of him because I don't know if he got lulled to sleep because they haven't gone to him much or not, but he gets a free release, and it makes it easy to throw to him there into that defense.
From the 25-yard line, Price buys time. Incomplete. Mickens the intended receiver that time, and that will bring up a second down. Taylor had coverage that time, and so what do you think turned it around for the Huskies on third down? Remember, they couldn't
get a
a
first
single
down.
one in the first quarter.
I think it's been a couple of things. I think the fact that Sankey is still a threat running the football is allowed Price, I think, to be able to get into a rhythm. I think Price has almost gotten to a point where he's accustomed that he's going to get hit every time he throws.
And here is Sankey, just shy of the 20-yard line, and George Hill lets me know that they started 0 of 7 on third down, and now Herbie, they're 7 of 14.
And I also think that Sarkisian's done a nice job with the play calling, finding certain matchups to be able to work to the advantage of his quarterback Price and Kason Williams and also Safarian Jenkins, both involved. They've also done obviously great things with Bishop Sankey running in, catching the ball to the backfield.
Here they come again. Third down and 5. Price going to be wrestled down. Took a little bit too much time that time, and Changachu wrestled him down.
This will be one he'll look back at in film and say, boy, why didn't he get a chance to throw this to the tight end? Watch Safarian Jenkins. Third down, you're thinking they're going to get it to him. Another free release. Nobody's back there. Nobody's back there. Safeties were split wide. He just didn't have the time to locate him, or that was a touchdown.
Travis Coons on to attempt to give the Huskies the lead. This would be a 41-yard field goal. Wide right, and it's not going to curl. No good. Boise State still leads by 2 points. We've got a timeout in Las Vegas. Capital One Bowl Week available live anytime, anywhere on your computer, tablet, or smartphone at watchespn.com and with the Watch ESPN app. Great time of year if you're a football fan, and for some of these seniors who will never ever play professional football, this is the last game of their lives, and they have a great time coming to the various bowls this time of year. So Ajayi is the running back for Boise. Southwick's under center. Play action. Looking to come down the near side. Miller's covered. Reaches for the ball and makes a grab. Wow. And what a catch, I believe, by Matt Miller. Was he in bounds? They're conferring now over here on the sideline.
What an effort. It looked like the left foot got down. He's not out of bounds while he's running his route. Ooh.
That is so close right there.
That is very, very close.
The rule of completion for 36 yards on the field.
They're trying to snap the ball before they take another look at this. You just wonder if his toes touched that line.
Well, the umpire did a good job. Gave the replay booth plenty of time to check it out. And here we go. Southwick hands on off to Ajayi, the redshirt freshman from Plano, Texas. Shelton with the stop for the Huskies. That is a huge play. Leading by 2 points, and you go 36 yards to Matt Miller, the sophomore from Helena, Montana's Capital High School. Here comes the blitz. Southwick, it's picked up beautifully and incomplete, but Herbie, that could have been big trouble.
Well, they brought the inside blitz with both of the linebackers coming. They're fortunate to be able to pick that up, and they try to get the ball out to Kirby Smore. Here come the linebackers on a cross. You see the back, who's been challenged a lot to be able to get involved in pass pro. He does a good job of getting there. And there's Kirby Moore, who is Kellen's brother. You wonder if the sun, as it's starting to set, may have gotten into his eyes there as he tried to come up with that catch.
3rd and 6. Southwick goes down the sideline, incomplete. Aaron Burks, the intended receiver that time, and here comes a 4th down and 6.
Justin Wilcox, the defensive coordinator, living on the edge here. He's leaving those corners out there on an island. It's burnt them at times, and other times it's been able to work out. He's leaving that freshman out there all by himself. He was beaten, but the ball is overthrown.
Have to go for it here. Field goal kickers have a long of 30 yards, so it'll be 4th down and 6 for the offense. Huskies rush 4, and it is a quick kick on 4th down. You can hardly call it a quick kick, but a little pooch kick.
Smart by Boise State.
And they bury him down inside the 5-yard line. Yeah. Good looking play by Southwick, who's done this about 6 times.
That's right. Good call.
ESPN College Football, the MAACO Bowl Las Vegas, is brought to you by MAACO Collision Repair and Auto Painting, the collision repair shop that paints cars. Las Vegas, where real fans know where to catch the games. Head to LasVegas.com today. And the Capital One Cash Rewards Card with a 50% annual bonus.
Oh, part of the bowl festivities, there are the mascots in a zip line race. They had, of course, that dancing contest and a pie eating contest in downtown Las Vegas. So these two teams have had a great time here. Boise State 25, Washington 23, 11 minutes remaining. That was the 7th punt this season by Southwick. And Herbie, that's the 5th one he's buried inside the 20-yard line. And as you pointed out during the break, this really gives him a great field position edge here and to complete the first pass to Williams.
You know, you go back to that catch by Miller where he fought to get his foot down in bounds. If nothing else, that affects field position. You combine that with the great pooch punt by Southwick, and you put Price, who's had trouble all day getting protection, pinned back inside his 5. And Sarkisian comes out with the very first play and is aggressive. Instead of thinking, oh, they're going to get Sankey the ball, try to get him going. First play, pinned back, game on the line, throws the football and gets the ball out to Casey Williams for 9 yards.
So second down and 1. And they come to Sankey, who picks his way. And Tom, did Sankey receive some treatment down there on the sideline?
He did on that right hip, Brent. He came off, and the trainers looked at it, worked on it a little bit. He hopped on the stationary bike, appeared to be holding a wrap inside a towel over that right hip, but after pedaling for a little while, popped off the bike, flexed himself, jumped up and down, and you see him back in action. He's been a workhorse.
Yeah, Tom, this has been a game that has featured great running backs through the years, and he's rushed for 169 yards and a touchdown here today. And here's the toss to him. Has a blocker, breaks free, and comes across the 30-yard line before Thompson makes the play.
Exact same play where he got out on the long run for the touchdown. The play side tackle, 72, Micah Hatchie, leads the way around. And when you see a back get into that secondary, it's not just because of the pulling lineman, but good blocks by the receiver, Kason Williams and others downfield trying to contribute and help out. Boy, Sankey just will not shut down. He just keeps going and going.
First down and 10, and there was movement. The right tackle moved over here on this side. I think you got a good view of it.
False start, number 59 on the offense.
So just a second penalty for Sarkisian's bunch. They came in with the second most penalties in the country, and they've got 2 tonight in the bowl game.
You know, Herbie, I mentioned running backs, and you were here with Doug Martin. He exploded for a 100-yard kickoff return for Boise State last year. He was the MVP. There's Marshawn Lynch for Cal, Steven Jackson for Oregon State. List goes on and on. Mike Anderson from Utah. Running backs have dominated this game through the years. Jet sweep. Handoff coming around and not much doing. They used Sankey out wide, and then they brought him through the formation, and Boise State was ready. So there are the 3 that I mentioned in the years in which they were the MAACO Bowl Las Vegas MVPs. What a great list when you consider all 3 of them are. I mean, Marshawn Lynch, what a year he's had for Pete Carroll in Seattle. They got that huge game tomorrow night against Jim Harbaugh and the San Francisco 49ers with Colin Kaepernick. And Boise State fans, that's a painful memory for me to mention Kaepernick when Nevada upset that BCS-bound team from Boise in that great game. And Price is going down, shovels it off at the end. Got it to his tight end, I believe, that time, to Day-S-J.
This looks like something you'd see from Johnny Football. You know, a little razzle-dazzle, never give up on the play. This guy is a gamer. I mean, this kid, Keith Price, is doing everything he can. He actually has time to throw. It's great coverage, keeps the play alive, and then instead of giving up on it, last second he sees the big tight end and gives himself a better chance here on 3rd down.
They need 6 again. Checking over to the sideline. Keith Price from Compton, California. He's a junior. He's ready to go. Middle wide open, and Austin Safarian-Jenkins has come alive here down the stretch.
And with a game on the line, when they really need him, they're finding ways to get him the ball. But this time, actually, he comes off to his 3rd, maybe even his 4th option, and he finally finds the big man. I'm just shocked that Boise State is not using 2 defenders on these crucial 3rd downs, one underneath him with a linebacker and one behind him with a safety trying to bracket him or squeeze him. He's been finding some openings here these last few series.
So the ball is just across midfield. They come back with Sankey, and he is met hard at the line of scrimmage. Greg Grimes was among those who cut the big running back off, who is approaching 200 yards. Sankey with 186 here. He's also caught 3 passes for 64 more yards. So what a game Bishop Sankey from Spokane, Washington is having for the Huskies, who trail it by 2, but they're across midfield. And there it is again for another first down.
They're on to something here where they're mixing up some play calling. Either it's the perimeter run game out wide or the inside zone here. It's a nice, delicate balance. Watch this play open up the backside guard. The big guard Mike Chris leads his way through, and they're not allowing penetration, which is helping Sankey out.
First down and 10. Sankey continues to pick his way across the 30-yard line.
Over 200 yards.
What an afternoon Bishop Sankey has had. He was all Pac-12 honorable mention running back this year. And it's a tribute to the coaching staff of the Huskies, I think, that they're able to get these youngsters to come back with determination after that painful end-of-the-season loss in the Apple Cup against Washington State, in which they blew an 18-point lead in the fourth quarter. These kids have played their hearts out here today. They're still down to Boise State by 2. Second down and 3, and they're moving the ball. That's another first down, and that's Kason Williams.
And also, with this game on the line, give Steve Sarkisian a lot of credit. He's known throughout the country as one of the more innovative offensive coordinators when he was at USC, still heavily involved, obviously, here with Washington. Every time you see Keith Price look over, he's looking to one guy and to find out what the adjustment or the audible might be, and that's Steve Sarkisian telling him exactly what to go to.
First down and 10. Price now pops back out to the right with a completion, went to his running back that time here on first down. Percy makes the stop.
You notice how he's starting to get a little bit more time. It's not just that the offensive line is playing better. I think Boise State is getting a little fatigued because not only did Boise's offense have a nice long drive, remember Washington countered with a pretty impressive drive on their own, and now here they are with an 11-play drive, 74 yards. All of a sudden you think Boise might be being affected a little bit by fatigue as well.
Second down and 10 for the Huskies. Price eludes the first defender. Sprints, he's going to take off, and he's pushed out of bounds at the 20-yard line. And this will bring up a third down. Sam Okuachu from Pearland, Texas.
It's a blown assignment up front, and allows Reno to get in there with the pressure with the middle linebacker. See that those defensive linemen hands on hips. Thing is, when a quarterback breaks down and runs, receivers got to help it. They're just watching. Give them a popcorn. They're watching the game.
Drew Schaefer, the center, gets the offensive line ready for this third down. Incomplete. Fourth down, Mickens the target, and Jamar Taylor did the job defensively here for Boise State.
We've seen how physical he can be when it comes to coming up and supporting against the run and against receivers. This time, this gives you an indication how good he is in coverage. This ball's there. I mean, it looks like Mickens makes this catch, but in the last second there, Taylor got his hand on and separated him from the football.
There's a 38-yard attempt for the lead again by Travis Coons from the right hash. This one looks dead on. And Washington moves ahead of Boise State 26-25 with 4 minutes to go in the football game. And that is the first lead for the Huskies in this game. They were once down 18-3, and they battled all the way back. Drive started at their own 4-yard line after that pooch punt. Great drive for Sarkisian's Huskies. While you were away, Herbie, the Huskies are just a little bit fired up.
Yeah, they're woofing it up down there, feeling it. Still a long way to go, but it reminds you of the USC days, you know.
Can you do that?
That's the lawnmower.
You gotta, come on, Herbie, show me that lawnmower. Come on, baby. Come on, let's do that.
Let's see that.
Come on, baby. You can't beat fun of the old ballpark, folks. Here we go now. Man. Now, Boise State's turn. Williams Rhodes runs up. Looking for an alley on that far side. Got great speed. Still going. Let's see where they mark him. Finally out of bounds. Shane Williams Rhodes from Spring, Texas lights a fire for the Broncos. That's a 47-yard return. And Travis Coons, the kicker, has to get over on him.
This is why you put the lawnmower in the garage till the game's over, right?
Exactly.
What great acceleration. Williams Rhodes always has a chance if he can just get through the initial surge of the coverage team. The true freshman really brings a dynamic feel when he gets his hands on the ball. Reminds me of Holiday. Truman Holiday used to be at LSU.
LSU.
Kind of guy.
He had Olympic speed.
That's right.
Holiday.
That's right.
Banged around the NFL. I think last I heard, maybe it was San Diego picked him up. But anyway, the ball's at the 42-yard line here. Now for Joe Southwick and the Broncos. Harper crosses the 40-yard line before he is brought down by Danny Shelton.
I find it interesting that we're in the fourth quarter of a game where two teams have relied heavily on their defenses all year to get them to win football games. Now you got Washington out there trying to get their defense to come through once again.
2nd and 7, and they still pound away now with DJ Harper. We've talked a lot about Sankey, and DJ Harper now is up to 70 yards rushing today, Herbie.
Yeah, he's not quite had the same opportunities as Sankey because Southwick has done so much carrying the load. But this is a big third down here for Southwick and his Broncos offense.
Need 4.
He's got man coverage here.
4-man rush by the Huskies. Fired to, that is Potter, Chris Potter. And it's very close to the first down marker. Parker makes the stop at probably 4-down territory.
Yeah, it's going to be short. And again, good job finding that matchup. Man to man, you got to go against Parker, who's a safety against the receiver.
Southwick right straight ahead, battling for the first down behind Paradis, Ames, Kellogg.
Brent, I don't know about this spot. Wow. This is going to be close.
Could be very close.
Wow.
There's Tokolaki down in the middle of that pile for Washington.
Surprised we didn't even see a measure. That was really close.
First down and 10. Southwick fires it back to Potter on the outside. And that's a big first down. Schamberger making the stop.
You know, Boise,
this hurry up is starting to take a little bit of effect here.
Exactly. They're trying to mix up their formations too, trying to create even more confusion for the Washington defense.
2nd down and 3 with 2 minutes left in the game. That can really wear down if the defense is at all tired. Southwick fires, and it is complete for a first down to the 11-yard line. Goldevine, one of the young men from Amsterdam.
And Brent, he does a good job coming back to the football. He's actually had a pretty big day today now with 5 catches and 60 yards and some crucial catches at that.
Yeah, Gary Barnett, the old coach at Colorado and Northwestern, said that he was a very impressive receiver, Herbie, in that first half. Here's Harper now. And he is down at the 12-yard line. Not much doing. Schamberger again, who's been very active. Remember now, trailing by 1, they can bring this down, and, well, Boise probably doesn't want me here to say they can put it on the toe of the kicker. That's not been the best part of Boise State's game through the years. We got a timeout. And welcome back to the MAACO Bowl, Las Vegas. Herbie, let's take a look at today's Reese's Perfect Play.
I think you have to look at the little trickery that we saw where Potter made the catch, and a great effort there as he throws to Holton Huff, and he extends himself, never touched the ground. The replay showed it. Ends up being a touchdown at this point, one of the great plays of this game.
Now there is the kicker, Michael Facina. He did make a 34-yarder, and that was the first points on the board here today. And it's 2nd down and 10 now.
Washington did use their first timeout there, so it's interesting. They're down to 2 timeouts.
Southwick looks to the far side, incomplete. Miller was defended on that far side by Peters.
Well, they're going right after Marcus Peters, who's a very talented player. He's going to be a great player, but he's still a freshman. And you've got a guy like Matt Miller try to go up against him, and I don't think, you know, that ball at that time, I don't think Peters ever even knew the ball was thrown.
3rd down and 10. Harper. And it looked like Chris Peterson was setting up for the field goal. Got the ball to the 10-yard line.
Called it timeout.
1:22 to go. Here comes the field goal team.
You know, I think on third down, if you're going to take a kind of a conservative approach to run the ball, unless he loves the right hash, but you would think you would want to maybe run it to the left, try to get it into the middle of the field, and give yourself a little bit of a better chance. I don't think there's any issue with the conservative approach to try to set up the potentially game-winning field goal.
But again, he might like the right hash.
Right,
because
exactly.
They seem pretty determined to set it down on that spot.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
Now remember, there was a blocked extra point earlier, but he had hit a 34-yard field goal. This 27 yards, this for the Boise State lead. Matt Miller, the wide receiver, will put it down. Off to the right, curls in. Boise State leads it. With 1:16 to go now, that's time for the Huskies.
Plenty of time, and I have to go back for Chris Peterson to the freshman, Shane Williams-Rhodes. Huge kickoff return. Got the ball to start the drive in the Boise State side of the field. That was huge. It was a 47-yard kickoff return that got them in great field position, and Southwick eventually gets him down close enough. You can see how excited he is about that kick going through. But Brent said it, 1:16 against Keith Price and against an offense that's very effective. Still plenty of time to have a chance to be able to get down there and get in field goal range themselves. And here's this return I talked about from Williams-Rhodes. Just what they needed, a big return, some great blocks, but tremendous acceleration to start that drive on the Washington side of the 50-yard line. That's what got them the chance to get that game-winning field goal. He's fired up.
Look who's back to return this kickoff. Shaq Thompson, the great defensive player, is standing on the goal line for the Huskies. Remember, Herbie has told you today that he was a great high school running back, folks, and here he comes. Loves to hit people. 25, 30, spins to the 36-yard line. How about that, Rascal?
That is a great return. How often do you see an outside linebacker have a chance to get his hands on the ball and get a big return? And that's pretty good. You're starting at the 35-yard line. You're 30 yards away from having a shot at a potentially game-winning field goal for Washington.
Here's the trophy. MAACO Bowl, Las Vegas. Great weather here for this game. Great crowd on hand. Price drops it off over the middle to Sankey. And Sankey's across the 40.
You got a minute to go. You have one timeout. That last timeout is vital. You do not want to use that until you get well into Boise territory. So that means you got to hurry up. You got to get out of bounds, and you got to get first downs to stop the clock.
Price fires complete. That got the first down. And he went back to ASJ or Austin Safarian-Jenkins.
Great job of finding the big guy in space, especially on those short yardage situations. You want to use his big body and frame to get those first downs.
Ball just across the 45. Drops it off now to Sankey, and Sankey brings it across midfield for him on first down.
They want to spike it here, kill this clock.
That's exactly what Steve is telling him.
All right. Now they keep trying to get the balls, the easy throws for Price, and the last couple times they've gotten the ball to Sankey on both occasions, he didn't pick up a first down, and the clock has continued to move. Now they're at 23 seconds, 3rd and 5, one timeout left, and they still need to pick up a good 15 yards. Where's Kason Williams? He's at the bottom of the screen, soft coverage.
Price has time, fires, it's intercepted. Picked off by Ioane, the young man from Monte Teos High School in Honolulu, Punahou, President Barack Obama's high school. He makes the interception, and Boise State now is 14 seconds away from their 3rd consecutive MAACO Bowl Las Vegas win.
I got it. Well, locks in on this route the entire way. Crossing route. Here's your safety. Look at him just read the eyes of the quarterback. He takes a chance, jumps the route, and comes up with the play of the game.
That is the third Husky turnover, but the first of the second half. And now the victory formation for Joe Southwick. And the Broncos are going to win this bowl for the third consecutive year. They're making their 11th straight bowl appearance. They have beaten Utah, Arizona State, and now Washington, all of the Pac-12.
It's a huge win for Boise State. Gets them to 11 wins. Not just a third win here in Las Vegas, but I think it's always about building the program and trying to grow and getting ready, even not just to finish this year, but build into the offseason. And that's what they were able to accomplish today.
Let's go down to Tom Rinaldi with the winning coach. Tom.
Brent, thanks very much. Pete, when we spoke before the game, you said this season has been hard. So was this game.
That's how it goes. Washington, really good program, great players, well coached. I knew it was going to come down to this. One, because of Washington, and two, that's kind of how we do things.
You pulled out to a couple of touchdown lead, and then obviously Washington made its comeback. What did this team, particularly on defense, show you late here in the fourth quarter?
Yeah, we've just been, the one thing about this team is they always play hard. They always will keep fighting, and when you do that, you always got a chance.
Joe Southwick did a solid job here, especially late for you. What do you say about that drive down for the game-winning field goal?
Yeah, he did a good job. He's been improving all year long, and we missed one there deep, late, that could have really helped us, but he ran the ball well, he operated, and he scored just enough to help us out.
Congratulations, 3 in a row.
Yeah, thank you.
Brent?
Thank you very much, Tom. And now it is time to give out the Capital One Player of the Game. It's unusual to take a young man from the losing team, but what a job by Bishop Sankey. He rushed for 205 yards, caught passes for 74 more yards. What could you say about Sankey?
Well, he did everything. This team was down at 1 point, 18-3 in the first half, and they put the ball in his hands, and he had a lot to do with them getting back in a position where they had a shot, only down 1. Just a great game. Great to see both teams show up ready to play and excited to play in a bowl game.
Yeah, I want to thank our crew here for this game today. They did a terrific job. Josh Hoffman, our producer, and Mike Roig, our director. Herbie, as usual, you and Tom. 28-26, Boise State wins it. Chris Berman in the Monday Night Countdown on a Saturday coming up next. So long.